Car. Prefer to drive a loader. Next year, that's an inside joke. That's an inside joke. I don't have a hard copy of the agenda. Does anyone have a hard copy?
I think I left one in the car.
When we look
It
at
might
it,
have-
I
thought he
have a
might
bad-
have.
They're all the same. Correspondence, then roll call.
Yeah,
correspondence,
it's
Citizens' comments.
it's pretty small. This-
I don't think.
Okay.
Well, like-
Bob Dottie's coming with it right now. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, we'll open the meeting. It's 7:03. Five of us are here in person. Aaron's on the Zoom and hybrid on the Zoom. Next item is approval of the minutes. This would be the April 6th, 2023 minutes. I have a motion to approve the minutes.
I have a correction. I've been informed that Allison was not present. And she's listed as present in the minutes.
Okay,
I'll move we approve them. Subject to the-
subject to that change. Okay.
I'll
Is there a
second.
Steve has the motion, Rob Ann has the second. The one discussion that was around, Allison was remote. Was she not there at all, or was she?
She was not present.
Who's not present? Any other comments regarding the minutes? Okay. All in favor of approving minutes with the one exception? Say aye.
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 Okay, minutes approved. Next up is correspondence. I don't recall any. I think we have an email from
Amy.
Amy,
the selectmen, first selectman. But outside of that, I didn't see, does anyone else have any correspondence?
Bill has all we received tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
that's right. Yeah, we-
Bill sent it out.
45 minutes ago.
Our standard, yeah, our standard
Update.
update.
Yep.
Okay. If there's no other correspondence, we'll move on to citizens' comments. We'll start here in the room. We'd like to continue with the same framework that we've been using on 3 minutes per person. And again, I'll reiterate that if someone has more than the 3 minutes, please send it in to the group via email. We'll read all of those, so if we can't get it through in 3 minutes, we'd be happy to see it in writing and we'll read it and take it into consideration in terms of our meeting. So with that, is there any citizen? Yes.
Thank you, Rob.
Please state your name and address.
Brian LaFrida, 388 Lowell Davis Road, North Riverdale. I just wanted to say, as a result of ending last weekend, thank you for including Lowell Davis Road on the paving budget this year. But the meeting last week was put off a decision on the paving budget until a better breakdown of projects could be determined. And as comments have to come before the meeting, I'm not privy of the results of that work, so this may not even be a major point I'm making. But as a resident of a road long overdue for paving, I would hate to have the budget cut to the point, which the suggestion was about 300,000, I believe, that there isn't enough money left to complete the project. I'm not even sure if this is for the full road all the way to Thompson Road, but excluding the dirt area or just for the majority of the road. Not having the money means delaying for yet another year. What's another year? Another year for us is another year for someone else, maybe 2 for the next street, 3 for the one after that. Just another case of kicking the problem down the road. I would also like to point out that Lowell Davis was approved for scenic road status. According to the town ordinance, that means the town bears a responsibility to maintain the road in proper condition, which it currently is not. And not leaving sufficient funding to complete this project, preferably at both ends of the street, means the town is acting in a manner that does not comply with the scenic road ordinance. Early on in the budget process, the now likely moot point came up that we should consider the possibility of a mill rate increase due to the HVA system. Well, if we consider the likelihood of that happening in the next couple of years, and it's not happening now, shouldn't we actually over budget, if anything, today? Rip the Band-Aid off, because next year or the year after doesn't mean we will suddenly have more money. The people have spoken, our roads need repair. Kicking the can down the road only delays and likely leads to higher costs in the future. You think the DPW equipment eliminated last week will be cheaper next year? Is the town hall parking lot somehow going to be cheaper next year? They still need to be done. I say to not only present the budget to the town with minor tweaks, and then everyone in this town on these boards needs to fight for it to pass. Remembering that if it fails, we will all be affected by the cost of referendums, additional work needed, and ultimately cutting something we will just need to put into next year's budget at a greater expense. Delay has never worked. Delay has brought us to this point. Stop the neglect, bring the pride back to Thompson. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizen? Share comment? Yes.
Peter Buck, 385 Haven Road, 685 Haven Road, I don't know. My comment tonight is more a question than a comment. The regional law enforcement in town is probably unnecessary. I think it's worth exploring. My question is this: is there a reason we're looking at only a resident trooper versus a sheriff or constable? Seems to me to be directly responsible to the citizens and the board versus a trooper that is only responsible to troop D. And I imagine a salary, a car and some gas would put well below the $200,000 a year we're talking about spending. And we could have much more control over.
No way.
This would also help all the communities in the area as not them off one of their already understaffed deputies, troops or troopers, whatever. That's it.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments in the room? Any citizen comments on the Zoom? Any citizens' comments on Zoom?
All right.
Hello, Bill Warner from Lowell Davis Road here.
Yes, Bill, you have the floor.
I believe Sally White handed out some paperwork. Last month, I provided this board data showing that the cost per student and school system population of our neighbors along the Route 395 corridor. That data showed that the town of Thompson spends more per student regardless of school size. The main response from the Board of Education members and their supporters was that the data did not account for a higher than average special education population. It was even suggested that I add an asterisk to Thompson's numbers to show it didn't consider our higher education costs. In the interest of accuracy, I decided to do some research on our special education numbers. I was surprised by what I found. In the 2021 fiscal year, which is the data that the state of Connecticut has on their website, Thompson spent over $5.3 million on special education. This was 27.9% of their total budget that year. Putnam, a similar sized school system, spent over $5.7 million on special education. This was 30.6% of their total budget that year. Brooklyn, also a similar sized school system, spent almost $5.6 million on special education. This was 29.2% of their total budget that year. Compared to the 8 towns along the Route 395 corridor, Thompson comes in 4th in regards to spending for special education, with 3 towns higher and 4 towns lower. Seems like, despite what we've been told by town officials, our special education expenditures are normal for Northeast Connecticut. Why then is the cost per student so high? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other citizen comments from the folks on Zoom? Okay, last chance in the group here. Anyone here in the room would like to comment? Yes, please.
Sally White, 308 East Thompson Road. Last Saturday, there was a presentation given on the budget process by Mr. Warren. And there was a gentleman there who, I don't know that I've ever seen him before, but he was very well spoken. And he spoke to concern about the demographics in town, and the ability of the taxpayers to weather a significant tax increase. He said, has there been research done on the number of people on fixed income, on social security, on welfare, receiving any number of benefits, and what are various ages? What is approximately their income or their job status? He was concerned, and as I say, it's very well spoken, nice man, about the ability of the town to weather that without it being a significant burden, including, and I will say this, he didn't mention businesses. But one thing that has come to my attention is, given the increase that may impact private property owners, is the increase for business. Given the other costs associated in the economic state. But I think that we could probably do some serious harm to cash flow with medium, small size business, even large business in town. So I think I would hope that we would protect those people that actually provide the source of revenue to the town and take that into very serious consideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other citizen? Like to make a comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll move into the budget workshop, item 5. I think we ended last week in paving. Am I correct in that?
Capital, anybody, yeah.
Capital, but in particular among the capital, it was paving.
Right.
Any objection to picking up there? Okay. I think where we were, there was, as I recall, there were 3. I call them buckets, but 3 pools of money needed. One was for an outsourcing of a number of streets that were listed. Joe told us. There was monies and a quote for cost provided for the sealing of already paved roads, and then there was some roads we were going to do ourselves, where we have the equipment and people, but we need there's an expense even to do it ourselves. And I think that was the gap, if I recall.
Yeah, I think in the minutes it indicated that there was $889,380 that Joe and Amy had projected as being the cost of, I think it was Fabian Road or a couple
And
of
some
other
of the
roads.
smaller roads, yes.
And she indicated at the time that plus 300,000 in additional, I think, chip sealing and other work to be done. And thank you, Amy, for giving us
That
tonight
was, yeah,
a breakdown.
Yeah.
And the breakdown comes to 300,000. Last week I had suggested that we had a balance, according to Bill Steglitz, of approximately $1,400,000 in the account, and that would be at the end of this year when all the state funds are in the corporate. And I would think then that since Amy's numbers last week were correct, that we should be able to cut, and I think last week I said $239,000 from the paving budget. That would leave us with about almost $1,200,000 and a surplus or unexpended amount in that account of around $210,000. So I would like to make a motion then that we decrease the paving by $239,000.
I'd like to review the numbers that you just gave, but if you want to jump into the motion, we'll jump into the motion, but.
Well, it's up for discussion. If someone seconds it, if someone doesn't second it, go ahead.
Okay, we can do it that way. I just, to me, it's more productive to level set first, which was what you were doing, but I had a few questions on the level set, but a motion's been made. Is there a second to the motion? Okay, hearing none. I have a couple of questions.
And can we just clarify, Bill and I sat down and if you look on the screen, we pulled up specific numbers what's in the account currently, how it's going to be loaded with funding from LoCIP, municipal road aid, et cetera, what we've requested, which you'll see. What, actually, I'll leave it for you, Bill.
Sure. So
I don't want to
essentially,
stand in your way.
Dave, to your analysis that you were just
Yeah.
discussing, I basically refreshed that because that's a little older now. I think it's been a month or so since we provided that. But the spirit of it, the numbers are very similar, but this is just current as of today. So at row 6 there, our current paving fund balance, this is after 2023 expenses, is 1,048,000. There's 70,000 of that is earmarked. It's my understanding for some water main work on Main Street. So that brings us to an adjusted balance of the 978,000. So the exercise I was trying to do here was to roll forward the paving fund balance to where we would land at the end of 24, to give you a better idea of how much we had to work with. So to get there, the additions in 23, we haven't received the LoCIP money and the municipal road aid money yet. So those would flow in that 86 and 76. Then in 24, we would have town road aid of the 252 for 2023. We've already received that amount. That's why it doesn't appear on the schedule. It's in the balance already. Then we would get the LoCIP and municipal road aid for 2024. The next line down, row 18, is the current proposed addition in the budget to the paving fund, the 578,000. So that would bring us to $2.1 million. The numbers following are from Joe and the DPW on the expected paving expenses for 2024. Thanks, Amber. Great timing.
Sorry about that.
The in-house paving 300, outsourced paving of 900, chip sealing of 387, and the Blaine Road intersection work of 112. That for $1.7 million of road work in 2024. That brings us to a projected paving fund balance with the existing 578 in it of 437,360.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah,
And what
that's it.
was that number going into 23?
Coming into 23, we were. It was about 600,000 because we added maybe a little bit less than that. Probably about $500,000. We benefited, if you will, from not having a lot of expenditures this year. The 2023 paving expenditures, and I had it when I worked this up, I want to say it was $250,000 or $300,000 in total. I want to say it's like 253. That's in the 1,048,000 on in the top row.
So this year we spent 253.
Right.
And next year, if this were to all go through, we would spend 1.7 million.
Right.
And the comment was made last week that we also had a period of time without a director and we were down some resources, so it was more a resource situation than a human resource situation than a capital resource.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but our numbers here from row 21 to 25 include your entire plan for 24.
Correct.
Yeah.
Not including any incidental drainage work that might.
Yeah,
Exactly, the remaining balance on there, after doing reclaiming on roads, there are water situations occur where we do have to alter curbing and all sorts of different things like that.
What's the potential magnitude of something like that? Is it a $10,000 kind of issue or $100,000 kind of issue or $500,000 issue? And I know you don't know, you don't know to take it to it, but
I kind of guessed it out at about $15,000, and that's extremely high. That's like totally extreme.
that would be if things were terrible, it'd be $15,000.
Exactly, which it will not be that, but there is a possibility it could get that high.
That's sort of the contingency.
Correct.
no,
Unrelated, sorry.
No, it's okay.
You're next. Unrelated was the comment that the camera's not on.
Yeah, but I'm afraid because the internet is unstable, it keeps telling me it's unstable. I just want to spare us losing the connection entirely.
Okay,
So since most people are looking at the screen share, not the.
okay,
Mhm.
okay, thank you, Rob.
Is the volume working okay so people can hear though,
It's.
even if the video isn't?
Nobody has said otherwise.
Okay,
so.
all right, no, that's my concern. So I scribbled notes last week. And I'm looking at the list that Joe gave us. Now, I had written Old Route 12 down for some work, but I know the new list you gave us didn't have Old Route 12. And then, no, just wait, I'll just read off what I got. And then there was Norman Hill Road and I believe Park.
The list I gave you, this is what they're doing in-house. Park
Okay,
Street.
okay, so those are
that's
the
the
outsourced.
yeah.
Okay, no, I just wanted to understand what was going on. I didn't want to go into it not knowing. Okay. That was the list of outsourced. Okay, thank you.
Dave, your suggestion is to reduce the ending balance by roughly half. I'm rounding.
Roughly half. I'd go with
230.
200,000 and leave 237. But I think that's sufficient.
Any particular reason to have balance in there? That's anything other than zero?
Well, I think for unforeseen situations.
Yeah,
as
that's the
Joe was-
15 I just heard.
Yeah,
That's
But
great.
you
So
know,
maybe three.
My understanding of the balance was more about having each year having a substantial amount to kick off the project.
You can start in July.
So you could start, so if we build it to zero, then we get to a point where in a given year, we're gonna need a big chunk. It's not gonna be 587, it's gonna be like
No.
a million something. Because there's
Right.
an economy of scale to even get all the equipment out. You're not gonna get the equipment out for $200,000 worth of work.
And I
That's why I think-
I have a comment about that too, and it's not against Joe, it's just that's what the previous highway director wanted. He wanted bigger lump sums because when you pay people to come out,
That's correct.
the savings is higher if you do more.
That's correct.
Yes, believe it or not, if I were to say, take all these outsourcing road projects. And I say, okay, I have to eliminate X amount of dollars, so I eliminate this road and this road. The price, I'm not saying the price would go up, but it wouldn't be as efficient, because it's not as efficient for them.
Right.
To move their equipment and all that other stuff, so, okay. I guess we call it the bang for the buck, the more we can give them, the better pricing we get. Well, we can only afford to do so much, it'd be great to let them start at one end of the town and go to the other, we save a ton of money, but we don't have that kind of.
Correct.
What was
Hey,
the?
Joe,
I'm
Go ahead, go
I was gonna
ahead.
ask, What was the parking lot again?
72,
73.
73.
Wonder if we might think about putting that into our paving budget. That's where I think I understood there was a lot of efficiencies because they sort of were on a roll and gonna do the parking lot.
I had them do it up separately, but that was on their schedule. As I say, as they go by,
Gotcha. Yeah.
as they went. I didn't bring that up to the contractor yet. I will and see what his opinion is on it.
And Joe,
Yeah.
I know you're relatively new to the role in the town, but do you feel like those roads 22 to 25, that 1.7 million, that's doable within the resources that you have?
Yes, it is.
I mean, you have whether you.
The main thing is the pricing that came in from outsourcing. Which is the pricing. You okay?
Yeah, it's nothing to do.
I didn't even give you a dollar figure yet. But those prices from the outside contractors, which he breaks them down very well, and starts from grinding to grading to paving to moving his equipment to the next spot.
Sorry, Joe, I'm not challenging the pricing. I'm asking you just within.
No,
That can you do?
No,
all
what I was just saying was that is done, the 300,000 is in-house. And that is us doing the work, where we save the money by using our manpower, our equipment. And depending on the roads is how much in savings we will get. But I'm talking savings of smaller dollar amounts. So the 300,000, which I figured out for the weights and basically gets in some fuel and things like that, that may change. It may slim down a little bit. We may run into better conditions. So we could save money in the long run. I predict that that is enough to do, enough money to efficiently do what I need to be done.
Joe, you have the resources to physically be able to handle all of this in 1 year. That I'm trying to understand.
Well,
Trying to predict whether some of this is gonna spill into next year anyway. And if it's gonna,
yeah,
I'd rather calculate that now
That's the
than try to
concern.
bite off more than we can do. You tell me we're good, you can do it all, because the way you're balancing it between outside and inside, then that's good.
I can handle it.
Okay. Thank you.
The chip sealing piece is outsourced as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just-
And I like the balance too,
Yeah.
between in and out, you know, you're relying on other resources as well.
A lot of those, the outsourcing and would be more along the lines of, we're not doing it, we are keeping an eye on him.
Right.
On those people and making sure they're doing what we want them to do. So manpower is me. In making sure it gets done correctly in the way the town wants it done.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry too, also Blaine Road intersection is outsourced.
What was it, Blaine Road?
Blaine Road.
Yeah, no,
intersection.
You have that in you.
Yeah, we had it.
So that latest sheet that I handed out that Joe created, that's all the work that our guys are going to be doing.
Line 22.
Okay, any other questions or comments around?
Is there, if I might,
Yep.
yeah, is there a magic number that we should have at the end of the year?
Any magic number at the end of the year to start next year?
Is 437 the right number, or is it 200 or?
When that number just popped up, I basically went and I looked through today's numbers. And what a road would be and some calculations I did for next year. On some of the roads in East Thompson. And on basic roads in East Thompson, about 182,000 to complete those roads. So there are that money. I'm not saying I'm gonna get all this done and I'm gonna start on the next one before they're gonna be able to burn up all that money. But that money, if it could be rolled back over, we'd already have money to start in June. And not complete next year's list, but at least get it started.
And I'm sorry, that takes about. The
180.
$180.
Dollar wise, it all depends on the road, but I'm just picking out 2 roads. I'm picking out Porter Plain and Sand Dam.
And those two added up to approximately,
Approximately $300,000.
That's what, chip sealing?
No, what they call mill and fill, which is not totally grinding the road off, grinding off about 1.5 inches. And leaving the base that exists there and paving over the top of it for one.
Didn't Porter Plain just get done?
Porter Plain got done in what they call cold in place, where they grind it all up. And they put it right back on the road, mixing it with oil and other whatever solutions that they do put in there. The base becomes flexible after a certain amount of time, and that certain amount of time is up. That's almost been like 7 to 8 years.
Okay.
But the base is good. We do not have to destroy the base and go through a full reclamation.
Right.
We can use that road as the base.
sounds like there's a little bit around there.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I will, go ahead.
I was just gonna, my viewpoint here was that we're coming into this year with roughly $1 million. I know it's late in the year, but there's $1 million sitting. There's $1 million available. That's not spent this year.
Yeah,
It's going into next year. So
we're gonna have that.
if we pull this down, we're gonna go into next year with a very, very small amount, which is gonna either A, limit the amount we can do next year, or B, we'll have to put a bigger chunk in next year to help get to some substantial level, call it half of what we're doing this year. We have to put in probably $600,000 or $700,000 to even get to half of what we're doing this year. The other alternative is to do less this year, which I'm not a big fan of that either. I think these
I'm not
roads need to get
suggesting
done.
that.
No, I know you're not. I'm just framing the alternatives.
Right.
Would be to pull down the 437 and have less going into next year, or do less this year. And defer some of that work. Or leave it the way it's been proposed. Just framing
Okay,
up.
yeah, I hear you, Rob. I'll still make the motion then that we reduce it by 200,000.
I'll
second the motion.
And the motion by Dave to reduce the
Pay-
578.57 to 378.57,
Yeah, 200,000. Yeah.
$200,000, and that was seconded by Aaron.
Yes.
For any further discussion on the topic?
Well, I appreciate that. We don't want to spend more, tax more than we need to, but from what I'm hearing, the 237 sounds like a little bit on the low end.
Well,
You
you
know,
know,
maybe
I think
100,000.
I have no idea. Joe mentioned a couple of roads for redoing next year,
Which is more than what
300.
the ending balance would be.
So,
I think.
you know, we're looking at a budget of, what was it, 347 this year. And if we end up with 200,000, we're starting next year. If we go level with the 347. With 585. What is it, 37 or whatever.
578.
And which is $500,000 as a startup. Without increasing the line out budget in the next year. You follow me, Steve?
No.
What I'm saying is, next year, if we budget the same amount as we're budgeting
Yep,
this year.
570, yeah.
No, if we take the 200 off,
Gotcha.
you're gonna have 300 and change left. Plus, you'll have a cushion here of 237 to add to that. So if we leave the line item the same, we're talking about a cushion somewhat in the neighborhood of $500,000, assuming we don't increase the paving budget next year. We leave it the same as it is this year, as reduced.
So next year, we would be looking at 237.
Yeah, and we would be budgeting.
378. Right? It'd be about 600,000.
Yeah.
Compared, and we're gonna spend 1.7 this current year. In the year we're going.
Yeah, I know, but we're doing some major reclamation on Fabian Road versus what Joe was talking about, Sandam Road and Porter Plain Road. There's a difference in terms of cost analysis on those two projects.
The bases are good on those roads, if I'm not
Yeah,
correct.
Correct.
Sandam Road has
Yeah,
a
but
fairly good
that's
base.
not it.
That's what he
That is for
said.
Next year.
I know, that's the following, it's not this coming year,
But
it's the
that's
following
not the
year.
only things in.
We don't
25.
know.
Yeah, it's not gonna be less.
Well, I didn't say that.
Any other discussion?
Just a thought that I would share. I don't disagree with any of the arguments that have been made about economies of scale. It's just that I think when we concluded our last budget workshop, we're still at like 3.2 mils or 3.3 mils. I can't remember exactly what it was. And so personally, I'm looking for some cost. What's that? I thought somebody said something. So personally, I'm looking for some cost saving opportunities in this budget because I personally, I know that I can't support a complete total budget that calls for 3 mils. So I'm within these line items that people are bringing up to see where we can find some cost savings. I'm willing to take a look at that. So just my thoughts.
Thank you, Aaron. And to help clarify what you were framing, based on the update from Bill this week, the adjustment would, after all the adjustments, it would be a 3.28 mil increase. And if we were taking it to 2831 from 2502, just leveling everything.
And if this motion were to pass, we'd be at 28.05.
This motion would move.
If
to
the $200,000, that's only on the screen.
Understood. Thank you, Aaron. Any other comments or questions or thoughts? I have a few other areas. I'm of a similar mindset to Aaron that I think there's some other reductions that are possible that I don't think will hurt the town. And I think this one is very visible. It's very important to many of the folks that drive on our roads. I personally would rather look in some other areas in the budget that we went through versus cutting the paving, which I think getting down into the 200,000s, it's just going to set us up for a big bite next year. To do anything meaningful next year. Okay, no other comments? We'll go around the room. A yes would be to reduce the proposed budget by $200,000, and no would be to not reduce it. Larry, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes,
Man,
Yes.
Dave, Aaron,
Yes,
Steve,
I would vote no.
and I would vote no. So that motion passes 4-2. Okay, I think from here, are there any other, I would suggest we close out the capital if there's any other capital projects. But before we do that, Dave, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, that's fine.
I didn't mean to cut you off in the motion, but really, that worked to build a frame it all. I have a hard time weighing in on something if I don't have it, like.
No, that's
I gotta
fine.
have it.
No problem.
And you said it, but I couldn't see it. Thank you.
That's
and
okay.
that's also why I waited to make a motion when he first made his first motion.
Okay. And I realize we don't have a ton of time, so I'm not trying to slow us down either. We have a lot to do.
No.
So Bill's put back up the capital, the proposed capital spending projects. Are there any that we haven't talked about or any that anyone would like to revisit? Before we, I would say temporarily close out, nothing's closed out until we vote on the final budget, but for now to move off of this, are we good to move off of this, or does anyone have any other topics they want?
I don't have anything else at this point.
I'm good with what we got.
I'm good.
Now, the municipal roof fund is just a general fund, correct? For
That's-
all roofs. Okay, I just wanted clarity.
Just a
That's what
question,
was discussed.
Yep.
just a question on the roof fund. How does that go with the bids that we've received for the library roof? Where do we stand on
This
that?
is separate with.
I understand that.
We received the 500 and Tara can clarify the exact amount.
Love
I
that.
think she's on, we received the grant for 500 and it was a steep grant, 517,000. The bids came in well under that,
Yes.
so, we have 123,000 towards it and we'll receive whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever amount above that,
We don't gain anything with
unfortunately.
it. Always looking for a penny.
Okay, Aaron, anything from you with regard to capital?
I'm good. Thank you.
And to clarify, Rob, I think we renamed it the municipal roof fund versus just targeting. the
Yep,
town
no,
garage,
that's great.
So that we can apply it to different grants. that can fall.
Probably have it written down somewhere. But I just wanted to clarify it for today. Show somewhere in here. a little thing. Yep.
Okay, did we have anything on debt that we needed to go over? I think we did, Bill.
The only addition, I mentioned it in my email to the board, so I looked into the timing on the projects up at the school. School security and the track. Because of timing with on contractor availability. The school track won't happen until the second half of fiscal 24, so there'll be no budget impact for fiscal 24. However, the school security work is planned for very early in fiscal 24, so that financing will go into effect early in the year, and there'd be one interest payment on that that would affect the 2024
Now, is that-
budget of $10,000.
Is that short-term borrowing?
Yes, that's actually a bond anticipation note.
Okay.
Interest rates have come down just a skosh, but not a meaningful amount at the moment. So that's the addition that you see here.
So where does that put us at the 1,334?
Yes, right here.
So roughly $20,000 less than the prior year, 20,683.
Right.
Okay.
That was the only change there. And then, I don't know if you wanted to move on to contingency, we had increased the contingency fund. This was due in part to the thinking there was that the change in our approach to budgeting for benefits. And then thought that 37.5 for contingency is pretty thin.
So when you say you've increased it, you increased it from the prior year, not since the proposed budget.
Correct.
That's right.
Correct.
So it's already in the current.
It's in the
discussion.
current budget.
Okay, thank you.
To answer, and I'm glad Tara jumped in on this, to answer Dave's question about.
Mhm.
And I knew Tara had posed the question. She posed the question to the state as if they would be willing to adjust the award for the roof to reflect an 80-20 split. Since they would save either way. They have not replied, but I do not expect that they will agree to that, but she did reach out to them.
Thank you.
So.
Okay, any questions or comments on debt? Debt retirement, debt obligation? Any questions on the contingency fund? Going from 37.5 to 7,500.
Seems not yet.
37,500.
Up to 75,000.
I had a note on, you said you increased it as a safeguard against increasing.
The insurance.
We had budgeted in, it's been past practice for us to very conservatively budget for the benefits line, essentially the health insurance line. We tightened that up this year. And based it on actual employees, their actual healthcare election. That removes what has been a significant source of budgetary room, if you will, that was present in the past. As you all are well aware, that budgetary room was used.
Mhm.
So one could say that perhaps it was just in the wrong line in the past. Increasing the contingency fund by 37.5 doesn't capture all of that, but it takes a piece of it back and leaves it at the Board of Finance's discretion as to how it's spent. That was you guys.
We
For the
tracked,
audience.
we tracked how much of that we've used over the year.
This year, we've used about, I want to say it was about 25,000 of it. It's really, it seems historically to be pretty lumpy. Some years it isn't touched at all. Some years it's so small, I think folks have forgotten about it.
Now, does that come in the transfer fund situation
No.
yearly? That's
This
outside of
is
that.
just outside it, right? It's just general fund. If it's not used, it just goes back to the general fund.
You're talking contingency or health?
Contingency
Oh,
and health
Okay, because you just said you used 25,000.
of contingency this year.
Oh,
We've used
I
it for
misunderstood you.
The lights at the
Yeah,
park.
yeah, yeah,
And there was
yeah.
one other thing.
I misunderstood you. though.
Yeah, we voted on spending
Yeah,
that
right.
twice, I think.
Yeah, yes, we did.
On the benefits side, and now I'm having a hard time finding it here, I just looked at it earlier.
Almost the
There
last
was
day.
a question, there was a question mark, I think you were gonna footnote it following up on. That's the, we have the number.
I think we decreased that last
We
week
did.
by 11,000.
Correct. We went from budgeting at a 12% rate, which was our initial shot about a month and a half ago. Those numbers have come in a bit lower and we agreed to go, or the board determined to go at 10%.
Yeah.
That was,
696.
yeah,
Right.
But the reason I'm asking is when we dropped it last week, you still had a little bit of room. We didn't
Mhm.
pull it down the whole way.
Right.
That's
So
correct.
if you didn't pull it down the whole way, then it doesn't feel like you've introduced risk in that line item. But then we're increasing the contingency in case we overshoot that.
Well, I-
You follow
Yeah,
my question, Bill?
At the time when we initially set the budget, the 12% didn't seem unreasonable.
Right.
We were pleasantly surprised to see that that has come down, because last year, if you recall, we budgeted at 8 and it came in at 10.
Right.
So we were trying to avoid being in that same situation. So even with the 12, the level of cushion, if you will, that was in there was relatively modest compared to what was there in the past.
Mhm.
And that's really trying to cover, unfortunately, this line can swing. If you have, let's say, a single person with no coverage who gets married and then has a family, you go from 0 to 30, just over $30,000 for benefits to that person. Cost to the town.
Right.
This one, tightening the screws on this one as much as we did. The number's right now, but people's.
No,
individual
I understand that
circumstances
you have to have to have a little bit of
Yeah.
flexibility because you don't know.
The 2 points difference is like
Yes.
12, 13 grand. 2%
I
difference
would
is
put up the
13 grand.
worksheet, but it actually includes, we
names.
literally
No,
have
no,
names.
it's
and-
okay.
Yeah, that's not.
I just want to
Again,
make sure that we
don't
didn't
wanna
have
see
a
'em.
cushion there and then another cushion there. Don't worry, we got a double cushion.
And I do like having any room in the contingency fund because it has to come to this board before it's expended. So yeah, there's another safeguard there. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Thoughts from the group, I'll throw out a thought, which was, some of this we went through very early, many weeks ago. Do we want to go back through things we talked about, but we didn't really act on at the time? Do we want to go back through anything, or are folks satisfied with what we've done? So don't worry.
No. I don't know what the bottom line is, and it may be a situation where, yes, I would like to go back and review, but right now I'm okay.
I think this is the most latest,
Yes.
this is real time.
This is real time. Everything that's been approved.
Okay.
One thing that, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
One thing that comes to my mind was, teak. And again, I apologize for my personal interest in it, but, before this budget process started, at Teague, I was on the finance committee there, and we discussed the fact that they're seeing big increases in their payroll, the groceries they buy, the fuel that they provide and so forth. And so, I believe that they wanted to, increase their request by 5,000. And I happened to take another look at the, selectmen's meeting where that was discussed, and it seemed like that was approved. And I'm not sure if that's in here now or not. And I'm looking for the right bucket.
It's right in there on the, is it under the?
Line 458. Thank you.
Yep, right there. And I had,
Yeah,
oh,
I thought we settled it. They're getting paid 5,000 more, which was what they had asked for. It's just not in the budget because we're pulling money from the opioid settlement.
Correct.
To help offset. It was a plan to just, over the years, reduce
Right, you mentioned that
budget.
last week.
rather than starting a new program.
Mhm.
Using it to offset some services.
Because those funds are specific to a specific need.
So when their groceries going up and their payroll goes up, that 5,000 doesn't help them a penny.
But that's what they asked for, Steve.
Well, they asked for 5,000, but not for specifically oriented to a new
No,
program.
it
that-
doesn't do.
It's not a
It
new
can
one. It doesn't
offset,
have to be.
they help people
That's
that
what
are
I
in
understand.
distress. And
From
it can be used
opioids.
for that. It does not have to be used for new programming. They're still gonna get the amount that they asked for.
no,
I think that they would view,
And
I
the fuel assistance.
understand the fuel systems.
It's our discretion to decide programs that affect people that could be affected by drug and alcohol addiction. And certainly people that are homeless, because I've certainly had my share of working with people in the town that are homeless. And a lot of it stems from drug addictions. So we have the money and we decided that we would offset the budget a little bit by utilizing the money that was given to us through this settlement, and it's just sitting there. So we used 5,000 of it to keep that budget, that part of the budget flat, but they will still be given $50,000, which is what 50,000
Yeah,
eight something.
right. Rob had a question.
I have something that's probably not relevant at all, just looking through my old notes.
Is it, does it involve Teague?
It does not
Can you
involve.
hold
heat.
that for 1 second, Rob, please? Because I don't want to jump off from Steve.
I hear,
topic.
I'm not sure it really is, if we don't want to give them additional 5, that's fine. But I don't
We do,
think
we're
that,
just trying to be creative.
I know, I
Finding
appreciate
little
that, but
pockets where we could save.
I'm fearful that,
Right.
I'm fearful that this is not going to help them with most of their mission. So I'm afraid that they're gonna suffer for that, not be able to provide.
I-
But
I
you're
think
giving them
that's-
what they asked for.
It's part of their mission now,
Right.
and they're gonna be getting 5,000, which they can apply to that part of their mission,
Most of the.
freeing up funds for other needs.
Most of opioid, addressing opioid addiction is done by United Services. That's really, Teague doesn't focus on that. That's not their thing. So. I think,
Would you rather us put the 50,000 back in there? Make it 50,985, and we'll just keep the money in the opioid settlement is what I'm thinking that you want us to do.
I'd like to see the opioid thing used appropriately, and I'm not sure Teague is the right answer. Even though I'm on the Teague board, I don't really think that that's their mission.
Could you get a
our-
response
our-
or Teague on that? Amy,
I didn't ask them specifically.
No, I
Because I
said-
felt we were paying them. We
Could-
have the answer
yeah.
to what we use the opioid money
Right.
for. He doesn't have.
I
the
understand
answer
that,
for
but
receiving
could
it,
you
because they didn't
clear
receive
it
we
with
did.
their director in terms of use of those funds and what it means to them?
But they don't have to answer to it. It's our discretion as the town. We're the.
I understand
recipients.
that.
No, I didn't speak with
You know,
him.
I'm just saying, if she gets 5,000 from the opiate fund, you know, will that alleviate her cost and be able to take that 5,000 and spend it elsewhere? Not the 5,000 coming out of opiate, but it's the 5,000 they asked for. That would relieve that 5,000.
I guess I'm not understanding the question. We're going to
I think
give
they
them a
said,
check for
if they
50.
if we ask them and they say the 5,000 will help them in their overall mission, then that's fine. I agree.
That's, if you could just check with the director and, you know, get her blessing that this would work for them.
Okay, that's a good idea.
And I agree that being proactive about it, I like, that's a great idea, Amy, don't get me wrong.
Just to say the fact, I serve on the board of United Services, and that you truly are correct in the sense that they service the addiction needs of all this region. And they were cut, I believe, by 5,000 for their money. So they are literally people servicing on bare minimums, the mental health needs of Thompson, Woodstock, Pomfret, all the surrounding areas. And you cut their money, which they normally only ask for about 5,000 or 6,000. So Teague, in my estimation, I love Teague, but they are not a mental health servicing agency. And Amy is absolutely correct. A lot of homelessness starts with addiction. And in conjunction with all that, a lot of these people are having a hard time getting for services through United Services, the hospital, and that why, no transportation. So one of the new things that United Services is doing is they are actually establishing an on-site clinic for people to have their doctor and everything right there. So if there's anyone that could have used the $5,000, Steve, it would have been United Services, because the number of addictions in this area and Putnam alone, you can't even imagine. So I'm just throwing that fact out there. I know Teague does great work, but Teague is not in my estimation, a mental health servicing agency. They just, that's not it.
Thank you.
Just want to state that.
And the description for the settlement, though, was for people who were indirectly, not just directly affected by drug and alcohol addiction.
Why don't we get Teague's comment on that and then move forward?
That would be great.
So there was,
Thank you.
so there was 50 of that, you said? Was it
20.
only 5,000 or was it 50? What was the
Well,
number of that?
The total that they requested was 50,965.
Okay,
$5,000 increase.
We had just
Got it.
creatively
Understand.
decided, well, we'll just keep it flat, but we'll still give them what?
but I'm saying how much opioid money was there?
20,000?
So there's still money also
still
for
money.
United Services, what I'm
Which
trying,
we have to earmark towards something.
but it doesn't have to be the same
No,
organization.
No.
So there's
No.
still money that we could give to
Correct.
United Services. That was what I was trying to get.
Good point, Rob.
I'd like to see that versus them get cut their money again this year. I would, as a board member for 6 years, I can tell you the work is phenomenal for people in our area.
and we did, as Bill and I have talked about it, we've targeted United Services as
Yeah,
a recipient.
if we could move on from.
Now, is that,
No, real quick, sorry. I don't want to be disrespectful, you're adding value. If we pull somebody in for commentary, expert commentary on a topic, that's great. I don't want to bridge back into citizen comment, but I want to be respectful. I value that you provided the input for this. Thank you for that. I think we're good. Steve, it was your comment.
Yeah, thank you.
I like Dave's suggestion of verifying that it's meaningful for them and we've basically given them what they've asked for.
Hmm.
If it's not meaningful, it's gonna sit somewhere. Then we
Then
can
we'll
always
be,
revisit.
And mine is a
Revisit.
suggestion, so it's not a
Rob,
motion.
Rob,
it's-
over to you.
Mine was just a suggestion that we should consider doing both.
Yeah.
Because the money is there, it has a purpose. In both situations, it helps the people in need. And that's just a suggestion, not a motion, because I think the Board of Selectmen is somebody that makes that decision before it even comes to
Suggesting
us.
that the other 15,000 could be moved over. and
That's
outside of what we're doing.
absolutely,
At their recommendation.
Right.
so
Got
that's
it.
all. I just
Okay,
wanted to
great.
say it.
Any,
And the only other thing that I had was,
You were in waiting, you were. on-
Orla,
you were-
Orla had been to our meeting
Yes,
and had mentioned the Northeast Department of Health. And today is the date that she was supposed to get some information from the Northeast Department of Health. 'Cause I had the date written down.
Are we
So I just
budgeted
wanted to
at
bring that up, not saying it
175?
came in, we're gonna have another meeting, but
We budgeted at 175.
yeah.
Northeast Department.
I'm gonna go make a call.
So that's all. I just wanted to bring that
Or
up.
are we still at
Dave, for a
375?
second. Dave, 1 second. What line is it on?
That is line number
478.
478. Yep. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Next page. That's right.
So,
I'm going to comment on this too, so go ahead.
no, Aaron, you can go ahead. I'll comment after you. Go ahead.
So when I look at the actual budgeted amount for Northeast District Department of Health for fiscal year 19 to 20, it was $48,762. That's less than $50,000. And right now they're asking, or I don't want to use the word demanding, but they're apparently they have notified us that we owe them $103,000. So in 4 fiscal years, they have doubled what they are preparing to tell us we owe them. And I don't see the humor in that. So, and this might make some eyebrows raised in the room. But I'd be willing to take what we gave them last year, which is $68,888, and multiply it by 1.05, because the most recent year-to-year inflation rate, as reported by the Wall Street Journal yesterday, is 5%. And I'd be willing to do that. And I'm not making the motion yet, but I'd be willing to do that if for no other purpose, just to send them a message that we don't appreciate them doubling what they insist us giving to them in 4 fiscal years, doubling in 4 fiscal years. So that's just my thoughts. You're welcome to weigh in on what you were thinking.
Thank you, Aaron. Dave, did you have a comment?
I was gonna ask Amy what the result is of our health
So
call.
Orla was not at the meeting today, but she's getting the answer for us right now. And she's gonna text me.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you, yep. My comments, I had highlighted the same thing to come back to tonight. And I wasn't sure where it would land, so we'll see if we're gonna have some data you think yet tonight?
Yep.
Okay. To Aaron's point, if we were to say it's 68, 80 plus 5%, or if we were to say anything below what they're demanding, the 103,793. We vote on that and approve that, what happens? I mean, is that a mandated? We can do that and feel good about it, but at the end of the day, do we have to pay what they mandate we pay, or do we send them what we want?
We technically do. Because we did not withdraw from the district before January 1.
January 1
Yeah.
of this year.
Yeah.
Right.
Bill, excuse me,
Okay.
that's
Dave, go
a
ahead.
per diem cost.
It's a per capita
Per
cost, I think.
capita.
Yep,
That's what I meant to say.
right. Yeah, I figured.
Anyway, thank you. It is what is its current rate now?
Wasn't it 375? Is that?
No, that was the projected rate.
That was the increase.
Increase was 350.
It was a
or
50% increase. It was 750 and they proposed 375 additional, if I'm remembering correctly. I have to look it up.
We do that.
Well, in the spirit of time, we're gonna have more data, maybe instead of spending more time on. it.
Yeah, I just saw the date there and that's why I wanted to.
Suggesting we come back to it in a
Yeah,
half. an hour.
absolutely.
I had a few I wanted to circle back on.
Go ahead.
No.
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
They're a little bit detailed, so Amy, this one's for you on the selectmen's line 42.
Okay.
Did we have,
Sorry.
the advertising, what, it's, you're gonna spend about 3,300 this year, and it's going to $6,000. Is that specific things that you're gonna advertise, or is that just, you think it's gonna be more costly this year than last year?
Oh, wait, I'm trying to get the screen back up. So I can see it. I'm sorry.
We didn't lose Zoom, did we?
Yeah, that's the one.
There.
Oh, there, okay.
Okay, that's better. So which line was it again?
Line 42.
Oh, I'd have to look up the notes. So we were $1,000 more. I think part of it is an increase to publication cost. And again, my notes are incorrect.
If I might, it's actually $2,600 more than current.
Which one am I
That's
looking at?
correct. It's 1,000 more than budget. It's
Right.
significantly more than the prior year.
They're projecting 3,300 there, bro.
Right,
Is that a end of year cost? Or
that
is
was the projected and full year cost.
That was in the first selectmen's budget.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Line 42.
I'm pulling up my notes.
I'll give you a minute. No rush.
Advertising.
Mhm.
Yes.
Legals, public hearing, bids, personnel and public service. Part of this is we did have a lot of personnel that we were advertising for this past year. Legal notices. I know Marie's in the audience. She's the admin. Marie, can you hear me? She's in the audience. So what was the question specifically?
The question was, what, this year, your actual spend's gonna be about 3,300. Last year it was just under 2,000. What's driving it to almost double to 6,000 now?
Amy, I am on.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
what is that Bill's projection based on what we've already spent?
No, that's what you already spent plus what you think you're gonna
You
spend.
anticipate.
Because now is when we're really putting the ads in. We'll be putting ads in for the budget, I mean, for the town meeting, for the referendum, for the legal notices. But Marie, you can expound on that if you'd like.
Yeah, I believe it went up quite a bit based on what Michelle expressed as needs for help wanted for filling positions that have remained open over time. And then, as Amy said, the money is used for other types of advertising that we still have to do, or we still plan to do based on town meeting and referendum.
So anything that we spent in the first half of the year, the real expenses start hitting this part of the year. So what we expended in the first part was for job openings that existed. And now is when hopefully there's only one referendum. But that's when we like the next, because if we don't finish the budget tonight, it's gonna mean that we're gonna have to put the legal notice in the Norwich Bulletin, which is much more costly. So, and then there'll be other ads that we put in to let people know about the upcoming referendum. So,
How much of that? Bill?
Actually, Amy,
yep,
this is Marie again, if I may interrupt. There
Yes.
is also, as we chatted today, some of the money that's in the Board of Selectmen advertising line goes for the referendum advertising.
okay.
Thank you, Marie. Dave,
You're welcome.
No, I was just gonna ask Bill, he responded to the 3,300. Are you considering referendum advertising and
No, that was based on, I probably did not have that encumbered,
Hmm.
if I had to guess.
okay,
So that projection is probably light.
so we're more in line with 5,000.
Right.
If we don't, especially if we don't finish tonight.
I don't think we're gonna finish tonight. Not trying to be a pessimist. The next one I had was line item 50.
The processing.
That one also took a sizable jump.
Mhm.
What's driving that jump?
Marie was prepared to answer that one. Marie, the IT. jump. I think we had it, I think we went over this stuff, but
My notes on.
I have notes on it too.
Yeah. One thing that happened was that budget line items were incorrectly in other departments. So some of that was shifted back into IT so that it would fall in the correct category. I mean, we could have just left it where it was and it wouldn't show this type of an increase. But that's a portion of what happened. And then some of the other one, it was just contractual increases. Yeah.
It's also not so crazy compared to the
Data
prior year.
processing supplies.
Oh, the supplies, but that didn't, according
It
to.
was 10
FERC, that
grand
didn't
as
go up,
opposed to
right?
the 9 grand we're seeing, so
I
could
think
be
it's
an
supposed
estimate
to
this
be
year isn't that good,
The projection.
maybe.
Is the projection.
Okay,
projection.
I'm not seeing the,
Because the budget is the same from year to year, and that's what happened there.
so the next one I'd like to look at is line item 89.
Just skip over 52.
Training
No, I did
or
not,
professional services.
but that was the
I think
answer.
we have that explained.
That was the
Town
answer
Wi-Fi.
you just explained.
Connectivity.
I can accept the fact that it was misplaced prior. But in what accounts do we see a decrease? Because this one is increased so much.
Very fair question.
Which.
I'm just gonna pull my notes. It'll just take me a second.
This is 152, yes?
Say
Is that where we
again,
are? We're on line item 52?
52,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, which has a number of sub-line items in it, yes?
Well, the 52 increase was that Wi-Fi that we consulted with.
That's right.
IT about. It was Wi-Fi upgrades. That wasn't reconfiguring or replacing.
No, I was referring to
Yeah, that's
50.
That's a buildup.
Is where she said that they were reassigned to this particular account out of other accounts where it was misplaced. My question is, what are
And-
those
But I
accounts?
don't think that I don't think we were understanding the question because
Okay.
last year's approved budget was 12,500. The question was if the projection is only 8,000, we don't know what Bill projected. We only know what was budgeted last year.
Okay,
So I think Marie didn't know which line the question
Okay.
was being asked about.
Yeah, so
'Cause I didn't
I asked
understand
the
it.
initial question.
Right.
Marie answered more broadly to the whole category.
Yes,
Right, which means there's a lot of puts and takes.
right.
Dave's now asking if there's puts and takes, where are they coming from?
And specifically.
My initial question was on line item 50. There's a sizable jump from this year to next year on data processing supplies, just that one line, not the whole category, that one line.
Data processing supplies, but that's based on Bill's projection, which I didn't know what his projection was,
That's okay.
so.
I can speak to that.
Thank you, Marie. Please go.
Okay, basically, data processing supplies includes all of the paper for town hall, forms that are done for town hall, replacement to all of the printer cartridges, whether they're color or black and white for the town hall. And I basically put together what it would cost for everybody to get another one in the fiscal year, and then added those other items that come out of that same budget. And that's where we got up towards that number. Or to that number.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions?
On the same line, the 8860, which is the current year projection, probably out bills that annualized
That
what
was
happened.
actual expenses plus encumbrances at the time.
We bother encumbering for
And then,
replacement ink cartridges.
well, it depends if there's a PO out there for
Sure, okay.
purchases. So as I look at the cell, it looks like I annualized, so I considered the encumbrances, but I actually did an annualization of actual expenses at the end of our 8th month.
Okay.
Now, that could be lumpy.
Sure.
But you know, when you're projecting 400 lines, you have to make some assumptions.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I'd like to move to line item 89. And maybe just for everybody else, the reason I'm asking is that we've gone and looked at the bigger items. And having looked back, there's multiple departments through here. We looked at it all initially, but there's multiple departments that are 15, 20, 25% over the prior year. I'm just trying to go back and understand what's driving, like, inflation is inflation. Deferred, we didn't spend for 5 years, we're catching up. I get all that stuff, but. So it seems like may seem like a small number, but there's a lot of them in there and they add up, and I'm trying to understand what's it really for? Because for
So this-
something beyond just prices have gone up, it's too big of a swing to just be prices have gone up.
So
I
this.
agree.
Sorry, was that?
Aaron, did you have a comment?
No, I said I agree.
Okay,
It just seems like there's, like you said, you add them all up and it just seems like when you get to the bottom lines of some of these departments, there's big moves.
that's right. So Bill, please, before you comment on this, I want to frame it up.
Yep.
This line item had to do with the consultant that's
Right.
supporting us. And
It really has to do with the position. It's not necessarily going to be the consultant always. Right now, it happens to be the consultant.
so is this something that will eventually fade away, or is this
No,
something that?
it's something that could likely turn into a full-time position. And this is half of the position because it's split.
Yep. Exactly.
So.
And we have a position that doesn't exist because we're using somebody else right now, but then there's still an increase on it.
Using a consultant.
Right. We are using a consultant.
Yeah, it's a $5,000 increase.
Right. If you would like to consider knocking that down to 25 in 2024. Because in 2024, I fully expect the consultant to be used for the full year. That it may change going into 2025 and become an employee of the town.
Yes.
So there's some potential there. I wouldn't advise going below the 25.
Yeah, I'm not just saying it's an addition with a position that's not even existing right now because it's
Right.
consultant. And that's probably on both sides, correct? There's 5,000 on the school
Yeah, there's
side and
5,000
5,000 on the downside. Okay, thank you.
So you want a motion on this to address it? Sounds like.
Yeah, I think so.
Would that help? Because I'll make a motion to reduce that by $5,000, reduce line 89 by $5,000.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it sounded like Steve made the motion to reduce line item 89 from 30,000 to 25,000. Sorry, Aaron, you're a little slow. I think Rob may have got a second, a fraction of a
I
second.
don't know, my Dave might have beat me too.
No, yeah, I can-
Rob may have seconded that. Is there any further
All
discussion?
right, so this is,
Any further discussion? Okay,
My discussion is, I'm never offended if someone beats me to seconding a motion to reduce spending.
okay. No other discussion?
Just one comment. I think it'd be preferable to take out assistant finance director and replace it by consultant rather than,
Here, I thought of that too, if I could jump in now.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned with doing that only because when we voted to collapse the director level position, we said at the time.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
you were a
was the
big part
guy,
of
I
that.
made the
We said-
motion.
We said that an assistant director may be needed.
Yes,
So, and that's really what the consultant is doing, is
Yeah.
existing, so.
Okay.
For preservation of the historical piece and looking back, I think it might be cleaner to leave it.
we could put a slash.
I'll just pick a slash.
Then at least it's getting spent on what it's supposed to be. You know, just put a
That's more
slash
accurate.
after it, yeah, because, basically that's what it comes down to.
Okay, any other discussion around the motion? Hearing none, we'll go around,
Right.
Hearing none, we'll go around and vote. This is a yes to reduce $5,000 line item 89. Larry? I guess. Rob?
Yes.
Yes,
Steve? Aaron?
Yes,
Yes,
Steve? And I'll vote yes. This one passes 6-0. I was gonna move again unless someone else has a spot to go. I wanted to revisit line item number 228. Across the departments that, if you look at the town hall. And I didn't check the library, I should have, but certainly in the town hall. The heating, 23 to 24 is going down. And this is the only one that I saw where the heating is going up, so. Why would the heating cost be going up? For one building in town and going down for other buildings in town?
I can't speak for the library, but I know.
Well, I didn't look at the library, I only
Okay.
compared it to this building.
Oh, I
I'm gonna
did.
look at the library now, I
But
said
the-
I should have.
Okay, the Public Works, if you're comparing it to Public Works, they started using their wood burning furnace again this winter. Versus they hadn't been using that for a couple years. So they figured that will help reduce the usage. So that's why they should have stayed relatively the same.
Yeah,
We also benefited our projection,
So-
so this year on this line benefited from an extremely warm winter.
okay.
So although prices were up, usage was down.
Yeah.
that argues for
In,
going.
but in the library, it went down from 23,000 to 19,000. In the town hall, I mean, in the town garage, it went down, and I gotta find that line item. Someone finds it for me, let me know.
The library heating went up a lot.
328 at the Public Works, if that's what you're looking for. You're looking for library?
Yeah, no,
Five,
public works.
518.
In public works, it went from 15 down to 11. And the library pulled down by about $4,000. In the public works, it pulled down by $4,000, and in the town hall, it went up by 8,000. So I'm just flagging it as,
I see that, like we're going up a lot. Am I missing something on the wrong line?
yeah, well, you're looking at projections and percentages based on projections versus
We're going
original
up for
budget.
the coming year. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
so the question is, what would make that building, what would drive the heating costs up in that building versus two other major buildings in town, the heating is going down from this year to next year?
Well, I know that what we had planned was previously our oil prices were $1.75. And they had gone up to $3.48 is what the locked in price was for this coming year. So I think the projections were based on that.
We got three buildings and they're two are going in one direction, one's
I
going the
can't
other.
answer the library. I answered for the Public Works. They have a wood burning furnace that they started using again. To help defer some of the usage
Now,
of the oil.
Bill?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me, Bill, but you're projecting 10,000, whereas heating 10,000 for the year.
Line 228, yeah,
Yeah,
Correct.
and then we're budgeting 18,000.
that's correct.
It's
Yeah.
That's my
increased
question.
price and a reversion back to a normal.
So your projection is way off, is what you're saying.
No, the projection takes into account that we have had a tropical winter and we have, our usage is way down this year. So our usage, our quantity of fuel used in 23 is going to be down, but I can't bank on that happening in 24. I'd love to, but I can't bank on
Well,
that.
can we compare it to 22, where we spent 7,000?
It was at $1.75 a gallon.
I understand,
very
but
low.
we know the amount of gallons that were used in 22, and we could multiply that times the price that you've locked in at.
The budget. That 18,000 was a normalized quantity of fuel at the 348. If I remember correctly. That's why, don't forget, your price doubled
I know that.
and your quantity is about, if you're looking at the same
We-
quantity at twice the price, your,
Well, then I'm
should
talking
double.
14,000.
if you go back to 22.
That's right.
I'm not sure what 22's price was.
175.
23's Price was 175.
Amy said it was 175.
That's what I knew it.
Mhm.
I always get a little bit of a question when I see 7,000 even for the fuel. Is that just sort of a estimate for that year, or do we actually measure what we?
No, that was I could go back and drill down, but those are the actual numbers from 2020.
Wow, wow, exactly 7,000.
Hmm.
Always catches my attention. when you tell me that like that.
Yeah, that's valid.
So if I understood correctly, Amy, we don't know why the library is going down. That's a different person.
I don't-
That's that.
I-
The town garage is going down because they're subsidizing the
They're burning
Wood.
wood.
Right. And I don't see that in clear, like, I don't know what you have in front of you, so I'm looking at ClearGov and I'm looking for notes, and what I see for the library is that they're not asking for any more for oil. So
Okay. Well,
What
I
line-
can't
Rob,
answer.
what line is the
For what?
line?
Line 518,
518.
it's going from $23,000 to $18,000.
Is that the projection there?
23 is an estimate for the current year.
Yeah, in a tropical year.
18,850 is budgeted for next year. And 14,500 for 2022.
So potentially, if the library in a warm tropical year, if the projection is that they're gonna spend 23,000 in fuel and heating, they probably didn't allocate enough. If you're looking at the projections, because it's just a guess. But if they're asking for 18,000, but Bill is saying they're projected to hit 23,000, then they didn't ask for enough.
That could be it.
Yeah.
But the other choice is the other one's too much. I mean, that's.
That's why I asked the question.
Or maybe we're not gonna be enough. Maybe the library is gonna be too low and they didn't budget properly.
Exactly, that's the.
I know, I
concern.
can understand the question, but those projections are throwing me off because
Mhm.
I don't have that data. I don't know what Bill
No,
plugged in for
that's
you
fine.
guys. So. It makes it very difficult for me to answer a question when I don't know where it's originating.
Okay, we can move on. So unless anyone else has any other questions, just with a flag for me.
Oh, no, absolutely.
If things going in opposite directions when you're buying. things. Aaron, did you have a comment?
Not on 228.
Okay.
Have you finished, Rob? or-
I had a few more, but I
Go
can,
ahead,
but
go
I can
ahead.
take a break.
No, go ahead.
I'm ready
You
for-
have the floor.
I'm ready for a break. I
I'm
only
not,
took- I only
no,
took
I'm
the
not
floor
ready.
Because it was time.
I'm not ready.
Get that ready. Okay,
And I'm agreeing with most of yours. I
okay,
flagged the same, so.
okay. Yeah, if anybody else wants to jump in, but at any point in time, I'm not gonna take dominate the meeting here, but I had a few things I had highlighted. Line item 254. We had reduced the travel mileage reimbursement for the fire marshal by
Yep.
$214.
Mhm.
Because we wanted to level it to, basically level it to the prior year. I think we made a mistake. We leveled it with the miles. But the reimbursement cost has gone up. I feel like of all the moves we've made, I wanted to do this one because I feel like the fire marshal is driving his own vehicle. And it's very likely he's gonna hit the same amount of miles in the same town that he did last year. And it's gonna cost him more.
The reimbursement rate, if I might, the reimbursement rate went up 4.8%. And we went up 3.7, so there's probably a 1.1% change that we should make. The level of it.
Say that again, please, Steve.
The actual reimbursement rate, IRS reimbursement rate, actually went up 4.8% between the second half of this past calendar year and this coming calendar year. Last year was unusual. They had two rates last year, but
Yep.
second half of the year we're in is actually
Yep.
what we're talking about now, the year we're in.
We went up what?
It went up 4.8%. The IRS.
The IRS went up 4.8%.
4.8 last year, essentially last year to this coming year.
Yep.
That's the information we have now. So
And we
we went up 3.7.
Thank you for that data. I'm good here unless anyone has any questions.
No, I'm good with what we did.
I wanted to revisit it because it felt like it might have been. And I didn't-
It is a couple dollars light, maybe. That's-
The next item I had was 272 A, B, C, and D. We level loaded it, but we also went up 14.3%. And much like Aaron went back looking at the Northeast District Department of Health, I went back and looked at this from my time. And this is my fourth cycle. When I came in, it was 55. If you look at 55 to 81, that compounds at about 10% a year. So that's a healthy increase over a 4-year period, and I recognize that even with this level of funding, it's not enough. We could double this and it's not enough.
Well,
I just wanted to resurface it as it's a big move, it's a big hike up 14%. If we move them up even 10%, it would still be a sizable shift up. I'm not making a motion. I'm just wanting to share some facts with the team, with the group that, the open comments that we're not supporting the fire departments and we're cutting everything 10% a year for 4 years. It is significant. Go ahead, Dave.
I read over Amy's letter
I did too.
and I'm not for changing what we have here. A lot of discussion went into that. And I think that was based on the projections and so forth. It is, but I think what the fire departments have to do, if they're thinking in terms of additional funding, is to take a good close look at Amy's letter. And I agree with you, Amy. If we're going to be this isn't all the money we give to them. We give much more to them in terms of insurance and other factors. Tax breaks and what have you on the revenue side.
Mhm.
I think they need to get together, like say the town of Woodstock, and there should be a fire department budget. And I think then if we are going to fund them to the degree we are funding them, and I don't object to that. But I think there should be accountability tied into those funds. And right now, there is no accountability other than the report which they give us at the end of the year, which doesn't tell us a great deal. I've gone over that. So I would like to encourage them. Maybe a reduction, Rob, would be more of an encouragement. I'm fine with what we have there. But I think in the future, they seriously have to think about where we're heading.
And I agree with your comments. It sort of begs the question of having an overall fire department with multiple stations perhaps, but maybe one department that can allocate funds as needed as opposed to.
Well, Woodstock has 3 departments, but they are
They have one.
umbrellaed.
They have one fire department and 3 stations, I think.
Yes.
Better maybe way to put it.
We had lots of discussions on this, I think there should be one board made up of multiple chiefs that, distinguish who needs what. I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah, I've given a lot of thought to it.
That's why we had a fire advisory committee. It just didn't seem to, move along like everybody wanted it to. So we're back to allocating to each department rather than having,
Potentially, and if I can interject, Amy St. Ange, potentially an oversight board,
yes,
not comprised of the chiefs.
Yeah.
Just maybe as advisors.
So I brought it up partly because I just wanted to state some of the historical facts, partly your note, Amy. I don't think we're gonna solve it here, but as a board, when you're going from 250,000, now it's up to 400,000. We could say the words that we're saying. If it doesn't change, it's gonna continue to climb to a very, very big number.
we all know.
And I'll remind the board what happened with community. They also got $160,000 last year, the ambulances. That we arguably bought in prior years, and we bought them again. So I'm not calling out community versus anyone else. It's just, it's broken. And if 80 goes to 90 to 100 in 3 or 4 more years, this is gonna be an even bigger line item,
Mhm.
so.
And to your point, if you got anything from the chief, it was that we don't fund them
Still
enough,
not.
that there's big numbers coming down, that a truck is $1 million. So
Excuse me. Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah, opportunity for comments.
Yes, please.
And I'm certainly supportive of the fire companies creating some type of new framework of structure. They either can or, they can choose to either do that or not. In the meantime, I still have notes from an earlier meeting. It was, I think, mid-March. Thompson Hill requested 78, Funabog requested either 78 or 78.9. My notes are a little bit scratchy. West Thompson came in at 80, East Thompson came in at 80, and Community was the outlier at 90. I'd be willing to just bring all 5 of these companies down to $78,000. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a motion that we reduce these all from 81,360 to $78,000.
78,000?
Right, because that's consistent with Thompson Hill's request. $78,000 across the board. All 5, even.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it, but for the purpose of discussion. Whether or not I'm necessarily in favor of it.
Okay. Aaron has the motion, Steve has the second. To reduce the 81,360 on all 5 line items to 78,000.
Aaron, I don't have the numbers in front of me. What was the 78 is the smallest request? Is that what that is?
Thompson Hill was 78. Funabog was 78.8 or 78.9, basically 79. West Thompson and East Thompson both came in at 80, and Community, they were at 90. So I feel like if we gave everybody 78, there's 4 companies that would say, yeah, that's pretty much what I figured I was going to get. The only outlier is Community, and we've discussed for various reasons why we feel it's important to give everybody the same. So rather than hold all 5 up to Community's 90, I'd rather bring Community down to everybody else's 78.
Seems very logical. 4 out of 5 would have gotten their original request or more, and 1 out of 5 would get less.
Mhm.
Not quite. I think a couple of them would be $1,000 left or so.
Yeah.
Plus.
800, I think.
Any other discussion on the motion?
I've given a lot of thought to that vote. And when we polled the chiefs, the ones that responded said, yes, we'd like to be level funded, but those are the ones who are getting more.
Yes.
So
But
they
they-
asked for what they asked for. So to give them more than what they asked for, it does seem a little counterintuitive.
But then some of them had regrets at saying they should have asked for more.
Right.
Well, no, that's fine.
So that was both sides of
They
that.
got asked, they gave us an answer.
Yeah.
I don't think I said you gotta, I think we asked them, I hope we asked them for what they needed. Well, now we're getting some of them more. That in some ways doesn't make sense.
And to that point, if someone regrets that they didn't ask more, maybe this is just another reason why they should figure out a framework. So that instead of 5 companies coming at us, so to speak, with 5 different requests, because they're just trying to estimate what they need. If they all come together and they think of all 5 companies and the town in terms of how many trucks do all 5 companies have? What if we, how many people do all 5 companies have? What are the material needs of all 5 companies? That's beyond the scope of this meeting right now. But this sort of coming at us with 5 different requests and then somebody regretting and saying, gee, I wish I asked for more. I would say that's just another reason why they should come together in some meaningful, thoughtful way.
Yeah, thank you for that, Aaron. I think it further highlights the fact that it brings the question to me, if they're not getting together to come up with a common budget request, they're probably not coming together to work on equipment allocation and spending allocation, because they're operating as independent units. And we're not gonna fix that here.
No,
It's broken.
Well, I don't know if I agree. I think the separate numbers indicate that each one looks at its own requirements. And in some ways, maybe that's better than that they
Well-
get together and all decide to ask for 90.
I have an opinion. I have an
Each one
opinion
has
too, because
different
we all know
sources of
that
income.
different
Yeah.
departments have different apparatus. Like we know only Community is the only one in town that has a ladder truck. So when there's a big structure fire, everybody relies on Community to bring their ladder truck.
Right.
Just like West Thompson was here telling us about their boat. Only certain departments have the boat.
Right.
So they do work together.
Yeah.
And I know they're underfunded as far as, capital. Capital projects. I mean, a fire truck costs $500,000. And we know that the state statute requires every first responding fire truck to be under 20 years old. So in 5 years, we're at a cliff fall with funding these fire trucks. So. We have issues. I'll just say that. I'll come out and say it, I mean, so, basically cutting them is, we're taking one boot drive or chicken barbecue away from them by making this reduction. Making them work harder for volunteer work.
Are you saying it's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a bad opinion. They get paid for responding to a certain amount of calls for their tax reduction. They have to show up to get that. So they earn it.
Any other discussion? Okay, we'll go around the table and vote. Larry, how do you vote?
Yes.
No.
Rob votes no. Dave-
No,
Dave votes no. Aaron, how do you vote?
Yes.
Steve, how do you vote?
I'm gonna vote no, despite the second.
And I'm gonna vote yes. So this one doesn't move forward. It's 3-3. Next one I had was
Can
317.
I make a follow-up on it?
You absolutely can.
The. Aaron, you had the numbers. What was the fourth highest request?
The fourth highest would have been Quinnebog at 78,800 or 78,900. My notes are kind of scratchy.
The fourth.
Oh, excuse me,
highest-
that would be the fourth lowest. So then above that, you've got West Thompson, East Thompson at $80,000 each, and then communities even in that. So West Thompson and East Thompson were the tied for the second highest, so to speak.
Well, I'll make a motion to reduce this to 80,000 each.
I'll second that motion.
A motion by Steve to reduce each of the five fire departments from 81,360 to 80. Is that correct, Steve?
That's correct.
81,
Yep, thank you.
360 to 80. So seconded by Aaron.
but what you're looking at here, the original proposed budget. That's not correct. Those were not the proposed budget numbers that we originally received.
We only got one number for all five. We didn't get it broken out like this.
Till later.
Yes, later we did.
We did get the breakout later, but not the first week.
And this wouldn't have been the breakout, actually.
Okay. I don't know what the breakout was.
Well, I think Aaron had that.
Yeah,
This was our average that we averaged out.
78 was the average.
No,
No,
what this
no,
is what our motion was.
81,360 is the average.
Was our average that we took from all the requests and averaged them by the number of departments.
We don't, the reason it's like, it's presented that way, Dave, in this format is because we added the individual lines after the motion was made to fund them at the same number. This used to just be one line for grants, fire and ambulance. If you remember, we added 272 A, B, C, and D just to spike them out separately. So
Yeah,
that's
but
why
we're
you
talking
don't
a
have
difference
those
here of
original.
50,000. That's right. I'm not following approved budget to original proposed budget.
the approved budget was last year's budget,
Yeah.
2023.
Column J is 2023's approved budget. That's what we paid them this year.
That's the current year.
Okay, thank you.
That's the 10,000 a year per department is 50,000. Any other discussion on the motion? I'll jump in, and I just voted yes for like a $3,500. And the reason I did, because it's $15,000 across the five departments. This kind of feels, it's so small, like at this point, leave it where they requested it. It's not, I don't want to say insignificant, but
I understand,
it
sure.
feels like,
It's-
it feels like, if you give them $80,000, we're taking 1,000 away.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about. I'm trying to compare the numbers and I just can't understand why.
Well,
would
the
we
reason
do
I picked that number is it gives 4 fire departments who are virtually the same, within a couple grand of each other. What they requested, and the one that asked for 10 grand more than that.
I,
Sorry, That was my point.
I hear that, Steve, but you know, we said we've approved 81,360.
Well, we did, and now it's revisited.
No, I have no problem with revisiting. That's fine.
Any other comments, questions, thoughts? Larry, we'll go around. Larry, how do you vote?
Yes.
Rob,
No.
Dan? Dave,
No,
Aaron,
Yes,
Yes.
and I vote no, so this one also fails.
okay, so here's my last ditch effort. I will say $79,000 across the board, all 5 companies, that's my motion, 79,000.
you just can't sit if we've already approved 81.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
So we're going down again.
Yeah, the motion on the floor was to reduce it to 79,000.
There's no second.
Is there a second? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on. Line item 317, the repairs for the canine operation.
Hmm.
Can that come out of the dog fund?
Yes.
We went from $1,300 to $5,000. I don't think it should be zero, but if the heavy lift is the kennel repairs. And we have the dog fund, which is what it's there for, I'll make a motion that we reduce the dog fund. On line item 317, repairs and maintenance from $5,000 to $1,500.
I'll second the motion.
Keep in mind,
The way
just
it's
for
55 now.
clarification, that
Yeah,
line is at
50.
5,500 because we added $500 for, there was discussion to add vehicle maintenance into the K-9 budget. So you're reducing from 5,500.
Do I have to unmotion my motion?
Sure.
Withdraw my motion.
I'll withdraw the second.
Thank you. I was anchoring on the wrong line item. So I'll make the motion to reduce the line item 317 from 5,500 to 2,000. The
I'll
same
second that motion.
$500 reduction.
So you're taking out 3,500.
Yep, correct. And the motion's been made by Rob, seconded by Aaron. Any discussion? Do we need to vote to take it out of the dog fund? I don't want to not do it. I think it needs to be done. I just.
No.
It there.
No,
I don't want
it's
to hurt
part
the
of,
operation or have it in disrepair. That
No.
wasn't the intention.
There's sufficient funds.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yeah, there's 45 grand in there.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I will go around for a vote to reduce line item 317, repairs and maintenance by $3,500 from 5,500 to 2,000. Larry, how do you vote?
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes,
Aaron,
Yes,
Steve?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes, that one passes 6-0. Skip over the.
excuse me, Amy, are there any other items under animal control that?
There's an increase in
would-
hours.
Would fall under the dog fund that we could push it that direction.
it can be maintenance, it can be vet bills that can come out of the dog fund.
But you took it out.
Yeah,
Right,
so,
and that was why.
yeah,
That was it. Okay. Contracted services?
313.
that's for this new software that she's
Oh,
going
okay.
to have installed.
what
Good.
line item?
I'd like that report next year.
Yeah. I know.
Any other, before we move on, any other questions around canine operations 305?
Which one?
Aaron?
I just wanted what line item, so we're still on canine operation.
Yeah, David asked a general question. I think he was potentially, could the dog funds? I think your question was, could the dog fund?
Right.
Money also be used for other line items?
Right,
Potentially.
that's
The
correct.
different one could be used for that contracted services, for the software.
It can be. Okay, well,
Well, then I'll make a motion then that, now, are there any other things in that line of 2746 other than the software?
Double check. Sorry, I just gotta find the dog. Fun for my notes.
It would be line item 313, Amy.
Yeah, I'm going into ClearGov. That's where the notes were when the budget was first created.
I just have a notes of software, that's it.
I think it was just this one. Is it public safety? It's public safety.
And then I have the balance.
Hmm?
Then I had the balance written.
Your spreadsheet is much easier though. In this ClearGov stuff.
Contracted services, there it is.
Yeah, Shelter Pro, it's the. software.
So we could cut the whole thing then.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion then that on line 313, K9 operation contracted services, we reduce it by $2,746.
You know,
I'll second the motion.
Zoom slow.
Motion was made by Dave to reduce line item 313 contracted services to $2,746 to reduce it by $2,746. And it was seconded by Rob Mann. Is there any discussion? No discussion. Any discussion?
That's yours. Rob.
If not,
Writing on your paper.
we'll go around again. Larry, how do you vote?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. That one passes 6-0.
Good one.
Can we jump to line 341?
I haven't finished yet.
I'm sorry.
Can
Let
I
me ask a
bump
question.
into
Let me ask a
you?
question. Any other questions on canine operation?
Yes. I'm still concerned about increasing the time. For 2 years, I've asked for detailed information. I have received none in 2 years, and I can't say that a computer program is the reason. Anyone can keep a weekly log or a monthly log and provide that information, and it has not been provided. I would suggest, and you'll have to help me, Bill, that the amount which was 3,800 in the previous budget, be it
30,000.
38,000, thank you, be increased by 3%.
That a motion?
Is that a motion?
That's a motion,
You
but
made-
Bill,
I'll
give me the
second
number.
motion.
I'm gonna rephrase it when I get the number. When I get
39,140.
39,140. Dave made a motion to move line item 309, animal control officer.
306, please.
What did I say? 309?
306.
306. It's getting late. From $45,000 down to $39,140. It was seconded by Aaron.
And that's a 3% increase,
That's correct.
which all other employees, I think, received.
Almost all.
Any
Almost all.
discussion on this motion?
I just want to ask, when she does things, right, it's, where does she type it out, or does she put it somewhere?
Yeah, she gets.
And is it open to everybody?
She sends reports into the state, so those are accessible. Not every incident gets logged. It's usually specific cases that have to be logged. We did pull, because she was trying out a different software and it didn't seem to work, but Bill had gathered some of the data from, I think it was October. Yeah, maybe. November until, was it November until March? And there was a total of 85 calls responded to.
Are they all logged?
And that
where
was,
are they
I
logged?
think it was a 6-month period, a 7-month,
Right.
averaging 15 a month.
She has like, she had just a paper file folder.
Because we asked that last year when we were going through that, and I think you might have that she has everything, but we never saw it, and we never.
She doesn't have it in report format because everything's been done by hand.
It
But it
still
should
can be
I know.
set up.
It
I
should
know.
be.
It still can be set up.
Right, but she only has so many hours a
But
week
that's-
to work.
That's part of her job, as far as I'm concerned.
No,
she only had 15 cases per month.
If I
Any other discussion? Steve?
have a
Yes,
concern,
please.
I think that last year as well as this year, what I've heard is that the animal control officer spends more than 40 hours a week working. And I don't want anybody to work and not get paid.
I
Work
think
for the
we,
town, then, excuse me.
yeah, I'm
They're
sorry.
working for the town and they put in more than 40 hours, put in the 40 hours if you get paid for 40. I don't think we should begrudge somebody pay for what they do. If we can reduce the hours, I'm all in favor of that. But if we require them to work the hours, they need to be paid for it.
Okay, thank you, Steve. I don't know if there was a question there.
No, it was just, I think Steve's point is very correct. We had an animal control officer that logged hours of 60 hours a week. And she was being paid 20 back in the day.
Yep.
And that's criminal. So
Right.
we can say, well, NECOG will be less money. Well, NECOG currently has 3 animal control officers covering 22 towns. Jan works 24/7.
NECOG
She's
Wade,
on
I
call.
think.
She's
I
on
think-
call
I'm
all the
sorry.
time,
Oh, wait,
so.
Okay,
sorry.
Thank you.
No,
I didn't mean
that's
to-
fine.
No, no,
You
it's
didn't-
it's okay. There's a lot.
Um,
We're good.
I think NECOG weighed on what they responded to. I mean, you can respond to everything in the world, I think. I mean, you know, we can have a position, we had a position that started as a part-time position. We increased the hours, we're increasing the hours again, maybe an assistant next year. I mean, if you respond to every single thing that goes on, you know, even the resident state trooper, we went through the same thing. He said there's gonna be more calls. Once you have somebody, you get more calls. If you respond to every one of those calls, there'll be a need, you know, you can create a need for, you know, with demand, you know, however it goes, you know, I mean, if you want to complain about your neighbor every day, you know, and somebody's gonna respond to it like that, everybody's gonna call and complain about their neighbor. That's just how I see.
And there is, I mean, I think there's a learning curve
I didn't mean
in the
to,
last couple of years, and I've been trying to work with her to weed out the things that don't need immediate attention. And we have a new state HCO that oversees Jan, and I've been working directly with him to just try to, what can we eliminate?
and that wasn't meant to be a negative thing. I get horses run around loose. I mean, things that aren't even her job, she responds to at times.
Technically it is.
But I'm just saying that in general, any job, I mean, you know, any job, if somebody offered me an assistant at my work, I'll take it. You know, it's the same, it's just my point. Is you know, you can increase, you can constantly increase something.
To your
For
point,
example, go ahead.
Any,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Steve.
Help me out on the 15 calls a month.
Well,
that's
she
very.
said 85 for 7 months.
Yes, I think it was, so.
Is that-
But not every call is a one and done. It's
No.
a.
Well, I understand, then it should be,
sometimes, and then-
It's
Then we
difficult not
should know.
knowing.
Yeah, and then it's a follow, like. we
I
had-
think people have to accept some responsibility. I had a stray dog. I put it on Facebook and within 4 hours, it was taken care of.
Well, she doesn't have to chase after stray dogs, but she does have to investigate cruelty cases.
Yeah, I understand.
There was a case of some horses that, and granted, the agricultural Department of Ag came in, but there were malnourished horses at one of the local farms, not this past summer, the summer before. That was a continual process where she was trying to help the owners understand how they're supposed to do X. Does a lot of educational training with people as well.
But by no means do I want my comments to be taken as somebody's not doing a better job than NECOG, because I completely agree that we're getting a better job than NECOG. You know, but, you know, I mean, everything's got to, you know, this whole budget process with everything we do, everything has to be kept, you know. And we, you know, it's been the 3rd year and, you know, we just keep adding hours.
Well, we tried to add the full tilt last year.
Yeah.
Because we knew she was a 24/7 position.
And we put it on.
Any
No,
other
we increased it
discussion?
last year.
And we added benefits
But we
last
said
year.
some because we'll do it the next year.
Benefits were added last year,
Maybe
too.
I'm wrong.
Aaron, do you have any comments on this
I don't.
discussion?
Just let me- a minute.
Yep, go
I
ahead.
just want to, why I said this is that you don't want to skip something. And then something comes in 2 weeks later that something did happen, but it was never done.
Right.
That's where we're gonna get in trouble. So it has to be, if she has to take 3 hours to do it, you know? I mean,
I'm
we
sure.
don't want to be saying, well, why didn't it done? Was it done or was it not done? And then hire somebody to say, let's go because somebody's gonna sue you. So it's important.
I'm sure it's very difficult to weigh the viability of what you need to do. And we even Troop D, he sat here and said, for the COVID, and then they changed the liability on the troopers. And then they weren't even responding to stuff because they were too afraid they were gonna get sued. So it's a whole different, difficult dynamic, everything. So I don't know.
But my input here would be, and someone touched on this, it was looked to be raised last year. And we said, we're not gonna do this all in one big giant step, and we moved it up a little bit last year. So to me, this is part of a progression that we've been talking about. She does work many, many hours. And I think the fact that she doesn't record properly, to your point, Larry, and to your request, that should be fixed, but I don't think we should penalize her. I mean, I don't think that's a reason to not compensate her for the hours that she's working. So
No, but you gotta have someone,
I totally agree.
right, that has to look over it. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's your job or her job, because it may come up.
Yeah.
And it has in the past, even when I was a cop,
Yeah.
because the cop didn't note it. And then the next thing you know, we're trying to go back and
Yep.
do the thing over again. And who gets caught? The town does.
And for clarity, I wasn't,
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. I was simply saying that needs to get done. I was simply saying that I wouldn't not. Because that hasn't been done, let's get that done. I wouldn't use, that wouldn't be a reason
Well,
for me.
we
to-
said
to
that
reduce.
last year, Rob.
Yeah, we did.
We have a right by law
Understand.
to request this in data.
Yep.
And we're not getting it. I've requested it for 2 years. Supposedly there's software in there now that's gonna solve the problem. But we need to have that data to make an informed decision.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none. And to remind, just to level set, line item 306, animal control officer, the motion that we're voting on is to reduce the line item from $45,000 to $39,140, which would represent a 3% increase over the current year. Larry, how do you vote?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes,
Aaron?
Yes,
Steve?
No,
And Rob, I vote no. That passes 4-2. 4-2, it passes.
Larry said yes. Nancy, yes.
Dave said yes. Aaron said yes, and Rob and Steve said no. No, Rob
No.
Urge.
too many rounds.
Too many rounds.
I have an answer on NVDH.
What line item was that?
Okay.
478.
478? Aaron, we're jumping to 478.
thank you.
At today's meeting, they reduced the increase to $1 over last year, so it will be $8.50 per capita. For a total of, for this year, $78,421.
78,000.
421, you said?
Okay,
Well, that's good.
how do you feel about that, Rob?
Give me a number, I'll make a motion, Bill.
78.
25,372 is the reduction.
I make a motion that we reduce line 478 by 25,372.
Correct.
I'll second. No, I don't.
Motion was made by Dave.
You're not gonna win tonight, Rob.
The motion was to reduce line item 478 by $25,372. Is there any discussion on this topic?
My only comment is, that's only $6,000 more than what I was willing to give them.
Good.
Right.
We have to pay it anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. We'll vote. Larry, how do you vote?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes,
Aaron?
Yes,
Yes,
Steve?
yes,
And Rob Wurge, I'll vote yes as well. It carries 6-0.
so that's 78,421.
78,428, I think. these are.
21.
21.
78,421.
Thank you.
can you give us a picture, Bill, where we're at this point?
$27.99, which is a 3.97 increase from last year's.
So 2 point what, please?
97.
97. Thank you.
I had a few, unless anyone wants to jump in, I had a few questions around the public works. The first one is on line item 341. We're going up about $50,000, more than $50,000. From 45,320 to 115,000.
Could you repeat that line item? I'm sorry.
Line item 341.
341. First.
And at the time, it said less paving in 23. So with the paving projects, we think it's gonna be more. I started thinking about that, and I don't follow. I think we're paying the same people last year, we're paying them this year.
No,
No.
we have
No.
2 new people.
We have more people that we got. And were those backfills or were those
No, no.
additions to the?
I'm not sure where you're going with it. Are you basing this off of some projection?
Yes.
Okay,
The fluctuation you're looking at, Rob, is a the less paving in 23 drives the variance through the projection. So there was lower paving in 23.
So, sorry, we'll go around. So there's less paving, which drove 23 down,
well,
right?
understand. what the-
23 actual down.
Hang on a minute, that's okay.
I think I have an answer to the question.
We're going from 40,000 to 113,000. And if it's because we're gonna be doing more this year, then that would go to overtime unless we're hiring people.
No, we're
So-
going from 109, 110 to 113,
No,
I don't
from
see
budget to budget.
that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
who cares? Budget.
we're spending around 40,000. Now we're saying we spend 113.
Right.
Amy, please, your
Yeah.
comment.
So when this was created, when we created the additional equipment operator pay. What we calculated for were 2 equipment operators. So what goes into that line? That is the full amount of what the equipment operator would be. For 2 equipment operators full-time. We don't always use the equipment operator.
So there is,
And
So-
last year, we didn't do any construction. So the projection is low because we didn't use the full.
Sorry.
There's a-
Sorry, Dave.
go ahead.
So the equipment operator was the person we were paying X, and when they're doing this other job, we're paying them X plus.
Right, right.
So
But they're not equipment operators.
We don't have a permanent equipment operator.
I understand. So if. So the only way this makes logic is if we physically hired and expanded the size of the team. We added headcount.
Mm-mm.
We split the head count between, if you go up where it
Then if we
says,
split the headcount, it should have gone away somewhere else, because even though they weren't operating equipment, we were still paying them at the other rate.
but we were short 2 crew members.
It's a complex situation.
I have a little explanation. I don't know how much it'll really do.
Sorry, Rob.
What's good?
Physically, there are not 2 people who are equipment operators. This is in the past, and it did exist in the past.
Mhm.
Presently, according to contract, only those people who are operating equipment get paid at an equipment operator rate,
That's correct.
which if I recall was you said, Bill, $1.50 and a half per hour extra.
Right.
So that's where this
That's
number
good.
is, Bill is generating it. But I think it gives the false impression that we have people who are equipment operators.
I hear you, and I'm not even going there. I'm not saying there's dedicated people. There's somebody getting paid that money.
But we also didn't have a full staff for a portion of last year. I don't think we fully hired people, Joe, until like October
So,
or November.
so hang on a quick second, Rob.
I just had notes here that said 2 more equipment operators were added, but I believe it was because of a contract. I remember in a discussion, we had like one of the people at the transfer station were paid half of their hours, 4 hours of equipment operation and 4 hours of non-equipment operation.
Yeah.
I just had that in the notes. And then as far as the different line item, I had just had a note saying that when you were doing the paving, you were gonna try to bring some retired part-time employees in.
Correct.
That's all. Those are the only notes I had.
Rob,
Yes.
Joe was asking.
So,
Can I-
yes,
can I
Bill.
say-
Yeah.
And what has happened now that the crew has come up to full staff, I am able to do separate projects at the same time. So in turn, I can do it the reference, as in construction in one day, in a tree crew. So there's 2 equipment operators there, one person running equipment as in the backhoe, another guy on the tree crew. And then if I send somebody on a sweeper, that's 3 people. in one day, that can occur.
Yep, so my point, and maybe I'm not describing it well, if that happens, the delta cost for the town is $1 an hour.
$1.50.
$1.50.
$1.50 an hour. It's not the full pay, because while that person is being paid to fulfill that
I see.
duty, they're not being paid.
So-
Yes, they are. They're being
No.
paid as a, yeah, they're being
So they're
paid
as
as
an
a
equipment.
highway maintainer, and if they're performing the duty of equipment operator, they're getting an additional $1.50
That's
an
correct,
hour for that time that they're performing that duty.
That's correct.
The work year is about 2,000 hours. So $1.50 is $3,000 for
Rob,
the extra pay, right?
I know.
The extra pay, if somebody was an equipment operator the whole year, 2,000 hours would be an extra $3,000. That doesn't explain 100,000.
Because-
That's fine, all right.
It's the full
It's the
cost.
whole,
We have 7 maintainers. 5 of them are in the highway maintainer line at their full salary. 2 are in the equipment operator line at their salary plus $1.50. That's how it was broken down and put into the budget when Orla was here.
Let me try again.
But that's-
I understood what you're saying.
Right.
There's 7 people. It's considered an FTE, a full-time equivalent. You got
Yes.
7 people. So what we're saying is in the past, we weren't burning all of the equipment operator hours because we had all the people and we were paying them in the highway maintenance.
No,
Yes.
we had 2 equipment operators in the past.
Hey, we're only
There
spent,
was a-
40
there was
we
a
only spent
contract change.
45 this year. I know there was a contract change. And when they're performing the job of equipment operator, they're paid more.
Yes,
This year, that only happened for $45,000. We
Yeah.
can backtrack to how many hours of work that was. It wasn't the amount that we thought it was gonna be. It was way lower. Well, those people that didn't, that would have worked to get the hours up to the budgeted hours, they still got paid. They just didn't get paid as equipment operators. They got paid as highway maintenance.
Rob,
It's still the 7 people.
yes, but
So I'm
Rob,
trying to understand how we get to.
I'll
this
tell you,
huge- this huge
I'll tell you
increase.
how. You take the 2 people that Bill and Amy are talking about being paid at an equipment operator's rate. They're not equipment operators. They should be 7 maintainers.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And then the equipment operator line should reflect the $1.50, as Steve is trying to point out,
Sure.
extra for people performing that duty.
That's a cleaner way to do it.
That's a much cleaner way, and it doesn't show 113,000.
That would only show the premium.
But it will,
But that-
it
that's not
would,
what the- that's not
it
the
would
way it's
increase
presented, though.
338 by 2 individuals.
Yes. Yeah, if that's the way, if you divide that only to the.
That's
premium.
what's happening in reality.
I think the current year is there's only 5 people. Next year, there's gonna be 7 people.
There are 7,
I honestly think it should be broken out, just this is an opinion.
To-
It should be broken out,
there are 7 now, Steve.
highway maintainer, and then it should
Oh,
should
yeah.
have equipment operator hours. Because it's the same real.
Can I ask Dave a question differently?
Yeah.
In the current year, if there's 7 people, if you take line 399, you add the 258 plus the 45. You get a little over 3.
Where are you, please?
Line item 339, it's 258,991.
That's 338.
Right.
338.
I'm sorry.
Line
Glasses
338.
and sideways, 338. And then you add line 341.
Correct.
You get a little over $300,000, right?
More.
No, yeah, you're over
303,
3.
it's
303.
304.
Those 7 people. we
Yeah.
paid them-
More than that.
We paid them $304,000 for the work they performed. Those 7 people. Now move to this budget. You got the same 7 people. It's 266,000 plus 113. That's $379,000.
There's not 7 people at the 266. There's only 5 people there. Am I correct,
Yes.
Amy? There's 5 people on that line, and there are 2 people on the other line, which is 341. In reality, all 7 should be maintainers.
Yeah,
And as Rob is saying, there should be an equipment operator hours.
or percentage.
Just
Premium,
hours.
premium.
Yeah, premium. That's a good way to do
So let me try a different question. This year, we paid 7 people. Payroll is $303,000. Can we anchor on that?
No,
This year,
Okay.
in full year projection, 2023,
I don't see that. Where are you
Take
picking
Take the
that up?
250.
258,
259 plus 45. Just 303.
You're looking at the projection. for the full
The
year.
current year projection, what we're gonna
Oh, okay, you're
spend
back here,
for,
okay,
for the help,
got it.
7 people.
303.
303.
Next year, we're
Next year,
suggesting,
the same 7 people next year.
Correct. I see where you're
It'll
going.
cost us
I see it.
379,000. I just want to understand what's wrong,
Yeah, it's a
why
lot.
that's the case.
That's a big jump.
Where all the buckets are, it doesn't matter. It's gone up. from 303 to
Because in that line 258, you only got 5 people.
we don't care how many people are in it.
You're looking at
The-
projections again, Rob, and that messes it all up.
Oh, I don't think it necessarily.
You look at the approved budget,
David,
which is 109,966. That's 2 people.
Help me out. How many
One
people?
second,
did we
one
have
second,
in-
Steve.
Sorry.
Dave, if there's 5 people in the 258,981.
Yep.
And the other 2 people made $45,000.
No, they made 109,966.
That's not what we're gonna spend this year. We're gonna spend 45 according to our projection.
That's mainly because there were people who were not hired and not working.
That
There
I
were
guess.
not 7 people.
The
for
whole year.
all
There's
of
5.
23.
Not
It's
even
tough to
50.
follow it all. I know it's,
There is a delta in the number of people.
Mhm.
And there's also, and Joe, jump in if I'm wrong, there was probably less equipment operator time in the current year in 23.
That's a relatively small piece of the
Yeah.
pie.
Mm. I think it's just how it's
Yeah,
presented.
it's- The numbers are.
And it's confusing.
It's a
And
big
you
to-do
can
with
see that confusion here.
There's 7 people, now there's not 7 people.
I think it's
There are
6
7
or
people
7.
now, but there haven't been.
it was
7
5
all year.
before Bob.
Well, it was,
Now there's 7.
no, there was always 7, but they weren't all filled at any particular
Right,
time.
that's slot
Well,
people,
that's-
actually payroll.
They
We got
weren't
5
there,
for
then they
part of the
weren't
year.
And they were budgeted for 7.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, tough one.
Can we jump to
So
340?
I don't know if,
Thank you, or Dan.
Rob, if you want Bill to reclassify that, Bill and Amy, so it'd be more understandable, because they're not physical people, the
But
equipment.
remember, next year it'll be confusing.
There are no full-time equipment operators, correct?
That's correct.
There's none. So yeah, it should be broken down like, what did you call it, Steve?
Premium.
A premium. There should be an equipment operator premium, which it should show, rather than showing like these 2 positions are, which are really not 2 positions, they're percentages of.
Maintainer. And then as the equipment operator should be premium.
Yeah, right.
Added on as $1.50.
yeah, it would just make more sense because the way this is presented, rather than a portion of 5 hours of this guy and 5 hours of this guy and 5 hours, you know what I mean? It shows like 4 people are really a 1 person, the way this is. Yeah,
Confusing.
it's just,
I don't think there's 7 FTEs in the 20.
No, there's-
it's difficult.
no.
To follow.
Okay, moving on to 347, outside services. 348, food services.
Excuse me.
But
Directors are up.
Yeah.
Already guardrail.
outside contractors are going from rejection of 6 to 25,000.
3.
Outside contractors?
Yeah.
That was, oh, we were supposed to reclassify that. You didn't reclassify that? That was guardrail replacement on the Fabian Road project, Blaine Road intersection of Reardon Road, and there was discussion of that becoming a capital.
Capital.
So how much of that goes capital gets reduced? So I'll make that motion.
Joe, what was
Joe?
it formerly? What was it? Because we still do some outside contracting.
Did we do anything here? Did we
The,
do anything here? at all?
Fabian
I have a
Road
note here, 4726.
Lost.
It was discussed, but not.
No, I haven't, because
That's a
I'm
miss.
waiting for this guy to show up.
Oh, that was a line down. Okay.
Okay.
Well, previously we had
Yeah, no,
12,000
it's
in
hard.
there,
Big handwriting.
so could we safely move 13 to capital?
Yes.
I mean,
That would be twice what you're paying, spending this year.
But it doesn't affect the budget in any way.
No,
You're just
No,
No.
just one other question. Is there a revenue with regard to that guardrail?
I don't know.
Was it the result of an accident?
Well, not.
That's been broken forever.
If you drive on the road, you'll say yes, but no, it's because of the road being redone.
Okay,
And I just want to update everything.
all right,
else.
that's fine. I was just,
That one's been gone a long time
Curious.
ago.
I do know that last year was 16,000.
So if we move it, it's left, we're not really.
We're not
changing
doing
it.
Yeah,
No.
no conflict as far as
We're
budget
just-
numbers. It's just,
Reclassifying it.
Tree service, 348. We're spending 15,000 and your budget was 15 and now we're moving it to 25.
We have exhausted that. We are working side by side with Eversource to identify trees and really work hard. For a couple of years under our last public works director, a lot of the tree money just sat there. We can't keep up with the number of trees that need to come down. And we've exhausted the budget and we have lots of trees and Joe can attest to how many. It's approximately every time we do a tree, if it's something we can't do ourselves, it's about $2,000-3,000 or more.
Your average smaller tree, not like on top of the hill with their 3 feet diameter, is at a minimum 1,500. That's a minimum.
Okay. And that's because of your truck only reaches so far.
Our truck only reaches so far and also safety for the guys.
Mhm.
Because our training is pretty much on the low side when it comes to power lines and
Right.
that type of, also personal property destruction and things like that. If we hire a contractor, they get it done a lot quicker, a lot faster, but it does cost us money.
Mhm.
So we're saying
We're gonna still keep take the dead trees down.
And this is, from what I'm hearing, this is only not even 20 trees.
But they're doing a lot on their own.
outsource trees.
Right, I'm
This
sorry.
is
yeah,
outsourcing.
yeah, outsourcing.
They're doing a number of, far more.
No, I
on their
understand,
own.
yeah, that's all this is.
And my last question in this area is at 371. Of the spunk and truck repair. It's $60,000. It's doubling what we spent this year. Truck repairs.
Well,
Line item 37.
we were without a mechanic, and Joe can correct me if I'm wrong, and currently our mechanic just deployed.
yeah, I just,
He went into active duty. So we're without a mechanic. So we're going to have to potentially,
We would be spending less if you don't have a mechanic.
no, we'll be outsourcing it.
That's not what happened before when you didn't have a mechanic. You only spent 30,000. This time you don't have a mechanic or else.
One of the, if you have a mechanic, you spend a lot of mechanic stuff.
It just seemed like a large climb year over year, so I'm just asking the
Yeah.
question. Do we need that amount? We're buying new equipment each year. Can we curb that back without?
Well, we didn't get a new loader, so that's gonna have expenses.
I'm glad you remembered that. Amy.
The chipper needed a ton of work,
I just had a motor go on a truck today.
okay.
And the year before was 55,000.
How about the tractor when it came back today?
No.
That was okay, okay, I was worried about that.
No, no big deal.
Usually when they come back in the middle of a work day, it's because it needs a repair, Joe said, and I was a little worried,
When I hear him, I get nervous.
yeah.
that was 371.
Yes.
Correct.
Well, this whole group is up 20% from the current year. It's all spread out and every one of them is needed. Is what I'm hearing. All right, so
Question.
I just went through them all. Go ahead, Aaron.
Within any given department, after we vote to approve a budget, we send it out and it gets approved by the citizens and it becomes booked for the year. Within a department, don't department heads have the ability to move money around within line items as long as they stay within that department? Or do they have?
Did you say that again, Eric? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do they have to, do they have the ability to move dollars around within a department, or do they have to stay, do they have to adhere to each line item within the department?
No, they can move it.
And where I'm going with this is, coming back up to tree service page 48, I feel like $20,000 is more than the 15 they had before. I know they want 25, but I feel like 20 is more than they have. And if we don't give them the remaining 5, and if they can find 5 somewhere else in this department, then I'm okay with that.
Rob,
So
can I respond to Aaron?
Yeah, yes, please.
Aaron, when a budget is published, it's published in the paper or wherever. in terms of departments and not individualized items in a department. Therefore, the public, when they approve the budget, they are approving the amount of money to be expended by that department. So yes, they have the flexibility of moving money within that range.
Thank you. So I'm gonna make a motion that we make line item 348 tree service $20,000. That's my motion.
Second that motion. Is there any discussion? I'll jump in. This is one piece of the whole pie. I mean, this is a department that's important. I'm not suggesting that it's not important, but it's a big, when you look at the totality, it's $200,000 increase from the current operating costs the next year. And the $5,000 isn't gonna move, it's gonna go from 213 down to 208, but you know, given the latitude to move things around, it's a big increase and it's spread out among many line items. So I personally feel like that there's an opportunity here to yes, give them more money from prior year, but a 20% increase, it is, to me, feels excessive. Feels like a lot, and there's a lot of reasons and a lot of things that they're doing, a lot of good things happening. Full staff is there, and that's good that we have a full staff. And things that have been deferred, like we haven't cut down all the trees and roads. I get all that, but it's a big climb. So I think there's other areas here that we need to look at. Any other comments or discussion?
I'm sympathetic to what you're saying. There's a full staff now, but sometime in the year, somebody's gonna be out for, we'll be short a person for a little while, so. There'll be a
Well, that's
little,
true
there's a
right
little
now.
bit of cushion there, so. But on the other hand, we want them to take, we have really neglected our town infrastructure, so.
I don't think we can neglect essential tree work. I mean, it's a safety issue. But I agree with Aaron, there's enough, and Rob, that there's enough money in the package
As a bundle.
to take care of, essential safety factors, whether it's trees or some other road condition.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Larry, how do you vote?
No.
Rob?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Steve?
No.
And Rob, I'll vote yes. This one passes 4-2.
Another item can we talk about? Unless you have something.
I
No,
guess
go
maybe
ahead.
just close out Public Works. Is there any other topics in Public Works that anyone wants to ask about or talk about?
I'll say line item 350, do we really need all 13 streetlights?
Adding streetlights.
If they're in, I think they're in, Aaron, but
It says price increase and addition of 13 streetlights. So when I see the words addition of 13 streetlights, that means 13 streetlights that will be added that don't exist now. So maybe.
yeah, I thought they were added, and that's the cost to operate them.
That,
But let's get clarity.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. Thanks.
yeah, that was
Yep.
they've already been installed, but if you'd like, they maybe take them down.
No, I didn't know if that was addition of, meaning adding them in FY 24.
We've just figured what the additional cost would be for lighting those, which was actually pretty nominal.
I'm good, thanks.
Any other line items in Public Works?
Summer temps. Police parks maintenance projects. 900.
Rob Rich, if you had any other line items to take us to, I'm fine with that.
I was just holding off on Public Works unless there was anything else. I just, I'm having a difficult time moving off of it.
Oh,
Magnitude.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm having a difficult time moving away from this department. And
I don't wanna, yeah, and I don't wanna be aggressive around equipment parts and maintenance, those two line items. 368 and 371, they both need to be done. But at $110,000, do we have the bandwidth to do all that we need to do? It just,
Which one are
they're just large climbs from where we are this year. 368 is going up 20% and 371 is going up 100%. I'm kind of anchored on that. Nobody else feels the same way then.
Well, in 371, although compared to the current year, I agree with you, but compared to last year, it's a very modest increase.
That's true.
$8,000 increase.
No, I'm talking about 371.
That's what I'm looking at.
$8,000.
Approved budget was 52, it's now.
No, I'm
requested
comparing to actual prior years.
Yeah.
Compared to the current year, it's a big increase, 100%. But compared to the year before, it's a 10%, if not yet that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else want to go anywhere? Anything else in Public Works? Does anybody want to go anywhere else?
No, I think it's Aaron's bedtime.
It's 9:50.
Oh, no. So if we're still in Public Works, I'll go to line 368 and I'll say, let's reduce that by $5,000. That's my motion. Reduce that from an $8,000 increase to a $3,000 increase. That's my motion, line 368.
Where was you?
I can't, Aaron, you have to speak a little slower.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, hold on, ready? Line 368.
368.
Line 368, the motion is to reduce that from an increase of $8,000 to an increase of $3,000. So we're going to take $5,000.
I'll second that.
So what are we doing here?
We're moving line item 368, equipment repair and parts from $50,000 to $45,000.
Okay, you're cutting 5,000.
Cutting $5,000.
Yes.
Motion made by Aaron, seconded by Rob. Any discussion?
Seems reasonable to me.
Let's ask him. Is it,
Ask.
sir? Were you listening at what we're gonna cut?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? If you know, you're dealing with the prices of all your
Prices and the logistics of it is absolutely terrible, and I don't mean to be rude in any way, shape, or manner, but our equipment repair is a loader. And then which I still have the same loader at the transfer station, and I'm gonna have to repair it.
We talked about this in the past. What did we spend on motor repair last year? Or the last 12 months or a period?
We didn't get the answer.
I don't have those figures in front of me, because I can't speak truthfully, but I'm sure since winter time started, I can guarantee it's about $5,000. Not regular maintenance included. Repairs.
Okay, any other discussion? Any other discussion? Motion is to reduce line 368 from 50,000 to 45,000. No other discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. Larry, how do you vote?
No.
Rob?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes,
Aaron?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
And Rob Borge, I'll vote yes, and that passes 5-1.
I have one more motion to make in the Public Works Department, if that's okay.
Yes, please go.
Line 371. Reduce that from $60,000 down to $55,000. So that's a reduction of $5,000.
Motion is to reduce line item 371 by $5,000 from $60,000 to $55,000. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Rob Mann seconds the motion. Is there any discussion?
I have discussion to offer.
Please, Aaron, go.
If this motion passes, then that means we would have taken $15,000 away from a proposed $161,000 increase. We're not talking about a whole lot of money.
If I might make a comment.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
Yes. Steve.
Although I understand the overall impact, I appreciate that. On this line, I like to do it because there's a line that's inappropriate. On this line, admittedly, the increase compared to the current year spending is double. But we've had an explanation as to why it's so low this year. And then last year, 2022, it was $55,000 that we spent, so the increase is roughly 10%, not even 10%. So that doesn't seem unreasonable from 2022 to 2024, a 10% increase for this kind of, item, this type of item. So on the prior motion, I can understand that. This one, not much less so for me anyway.
So another good point. I think looking at the overall bucket of 160,000 at Aaron's point, I mean, it's $15,000. We could search somewhere else. That doesn't seem like a meaningful move to hurt the department as a whole. Would be my viewpoint.
No, I think it's possible.
Put that one over a little bit. Yeah.
I hear you. We don't agree.
Don't agree with you, Steve. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. We'll go around and vote. Larry, how do you vote?
Oh,
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Dave? Aaron?
Yes.
I'll vote no.
And Ward will vote yes. That passes 4-2. Nine 34. We could go to a few other areas if anyone has one, or we could call it a night. But before we go, we need to talk about the next meeting.
Oh, can I just share one thing, Mr. Vice Chair?
Yes.
I was conversing back and forth with Ann Miller and she's happy to receive the opioid settlement money, understanding that there is no restrictions for her use. And as long as she knew there was no restrictions, although she thought they could use it for case management, which she's fine with as well. So I just figured I'd pass that along. We went back.
So you're confirming that with what she asked and the way we pulled it out of
Yes.
two buckets, if you will, 45 and 5. She's getting what she asked.
Correct.
Right.
Without being
Mhm.
constrained. Okay, thank you. It looks like the group's ready to call it tonight. Aaron, you ready to call it?
Can I
Yes.
make we might,
Okay.
if I might, before.
Yes, sorry, Steve. Yes, please.
Just one thing to keep in mind, I don't have a specific line item to talk about, but we have proposed a 3% increase paid. And if I understand correctly, the contract is 2.25. Correct.
Correct.
And I think that's something we're gonna want to talk about next time. There's pluses and minuses to both sides, and I'm not, to be honest, I'm not set on either one, but that's something that's worth discussion.
I
agree.
brought it up last time and I agree.
So the contract was 2.25 and the amount is 3.
The budget, what's in this budget is 3%.
And do we have, for the next meeting, could we have the total magnitude of what that looks
I
like?
think we got that 53,000 and we got 70.
I don't know, we got it already.
Yeah.
53,000?
I'm
not sure what it was.
Okay, we don't need to get into it now.
I think it was about $18,000, but that's.
Yeah, I thought it was much less than 53. I didn't think it was.
53.
It wasn't, no, that wasn't the difference. It was one was 53, one was 72.
Yeah, oh, okay.
That's something.
Yeah,
53 and
I
35.
thought it was less than 20,000
If
difference.
it's 18, it'd be 53 and 35. Why don't we wait till next week?
Yeah.
I get that.
Yes.
Last topic, and I know we're way over and I'm gonna lose my job.
Can only hope, huh?
Wouldn't you love that?
We need to decide whether we're gonna meet on Monday or Tuesday of next week. And
I would
know that-
suggest Monday. Are you
Yeah,
good
you
Monday?
suggested Monday. I'm good either day.
I prefer Tuesday.
You prefer a Tuesday. Aaron?
So here's what I did as a favor to us, is I have agendas ready to post for tomorrow, both Monday and Tuesday.
They're right here. We have them.
We have them.
Oh, okay, good. I would suggest that we go ahead and meet on Monday and we go ahead and meet again on Tuesday, because I just got a funny feeling, and I might be wrong, but I got a funny feeling that we need 2 more meetings to get this done.
can I say Tuesday is your absolute last day, or else all the plans for the town meeting, we don't get to do? Because
And
we
that-
advertise by Wednesday morning to get it in for Thursday, to hit the deadlines.
And that's why my gut instinct is that we go ahead and meet on Monday, because we may just not be done by the end of Monday. And if we're not, we're gonna be thanking our lucky stars that we had 2 meetings instead of 1.
That's good, Aaron. I like that.
Yeah,
Do that.
I think we have to make the effort to finish Monday.
I agree.
I think there's, saying that there's nothing like a deadline.
Yeah, I think Monday is a
Work
deadline.
expands to fill the time available.
yeah.
If it was Wednesday, we'd meet on Wednesday. We don't want to talk about it. So we'll get it done.
On Saturday.
Motion to adjourn.
So.
Second,
Steve has the motion, Dave seconds, all in favor?
I,
Aye. 9:38.
Monday.
Same time.
Seven.
Michelle.
Okay. I will have to leave in second.
Seven.
I will have to do it.